going on? It's getting on my fucking.
What's going on, everybody? It's Tuesday. Show Me the Money Club live Tuesday, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. You can catch us pretty much everywhere, and then all major podcasting platforms as well, which will release on Wednesday, the following day. What's going on, Sergio? How you doing?
How's it going? It's going good. How was Chicago? How was Deep
Nice.
Beach?
It was nice. I mean, it was cold this weekend, but Friday and yesterday were pretty nice. So at least that was working towards it. But Easter was good. Kids had a great time. So that's always the perk, since that's what it's really for. But how about you? How's
Good,
the
man.
weekend?
Easter was good. Good Friday. It was my wife's birthday, actually. So we did that.
Oh, well, happy birthday.
And my sister's birthday. They're born the same day, believe it or not. So we had that going on the weekend, and yeah, back to business as usual. So all of you, please stick around today to all the way to the end. During our driver's corner, we're gonna make you the CEO of Uber and Lyft. So let's see what you guys come up with. But please
Well,
stick around.
yeah, let's do the rundown. Let's get right into that.
Let's
And
get
we are going to be talking about Uber and Lyft drivers. Are you better off joining a union? Then we're going to be talking about, do Uber and Lyft throttle drivers from receiving reservations? And we can also chalk that up to rides in general as well, too. And then, do you like hospital, doctors, office pickups? Distracted driving is dangerous, and it is April, which is Distracted Driving Month. Uber's getting sued by the FTC. Yay. Lyft is expanding to 11 countries in Europe. Why you should not turn auto accept on for trips. The Sunshine Man is moving. What would you do if this was you? So a couple of scenarios, and what would you do? Then we're going to go to our super chat shout outs and QA. And then also at the end, what Sergio was talking about when it came to stick around is, if you were the CEO of Uber and Lyft, what would you do as CEO?
Yeah, and one other thing that we missed, well, we didn't miss, but just Chris, we need to pay attention to this. So Uber, you're getting an email after the show with some evidence. Something is up with your trip radar. I'm seeing this everywhere, and I'm getting emails like even Advantage drivers are just getting nothing but trip radar these days, and there are some good trips and they're missing it. So Uber, according to your TOS, bots are illegal. You need to clean this shit up. It's you're getting it today. So we need to fix this, Chris. This is like getting out of control. Literally everybody's getting everything on trip radar now.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. But
Well,
anyway.
let's go to the good old thing that we can just say from Uber and Lyft, and that is, must have been a glitch.
No. This is like really serious shit because
Yeah, I know, and they're going to come back. Oh, or they're going to say, "Oh, nothing's wrong," or you need to restart your app, or you are the problem, or something, or oh, that was just a technical error, a glitch on our part. For some reason, everything was going to trip radar and not going to actual exclusive requests. So that's going to chalk up to one of those
we'll
things.
see. Yeah, I don't know. We're going to try to fix it, guys. So I'm aware of it. So we'll see what we get. But anyway, so let's move on, sir.
Yep. Well, let's go to a couple of announcements real quick, and that is, if you wouldn't mind kindly liking, sharing the show. Also, if you'd like to help support the channel, you can become a member, get different perks. And also, if you speak Spanish or know somebody who does, RSG in Espanol, so you can check out the RSG en Espanol channel. Link is also in the description if you want to go check that out and see us speaking in Spanish pretty well as well. And then also, if you want more in-depth content from the Rideshare Guy and get notified, then make sure that you are signed up for the free newsletter, and you'll get something in your inbox like right around this time every day or every couple of days. You'll get something, whether it's an article, whether it's a recap, whether it's what's going on. So it's a great little newsletter there. And then also behind the wheel, Sergio.
Yeah. I guess some people are watching, Chris. So I got 3 or 4 candidates lined up after last week. I want to be on.
Nice.
I want to be on. I want to be on. I'm like, okay, sure. So I got a couple lined up. I got a fantastic lady coming up this week from Atlanta, Georgia, with 40,000 chips. You guys got to stay tuned for that. And the one we did about the perfect Uber CMT, what is that called? Cambridge Telematics driving score. In fact, a couple of people, I posted it on X, a couple of people from Uber that follow me put a like on it, like top people. But for short, after that, I guess a lot of people watched it. I got tons of emails. My CMT is 100. My CMT is 99. My CMT is 100. I'm like, good, man. Good.
Hey. For the one who's 99, it's not 100. This isn't horseshoes. You got to have 100.
100. A hundy. If you have a hundy, send it.
Yo,
to me.
if you're not first, you're last.
Okay, it's impossible to get 100 in LA, bro. It's impossible. Honestly.
I don't know about that one. I bet we're gonna find some now that are 100.
You were with me. You were with me in LA traffic. You think it's easy to get 100 in LA with that? Shit.
Could be.
No, man. You remember that shit we'd have to pull on the freeway just to gain like 2 minutes?
That was actually kind of fun. It's like, the map is actually telling us something that's useful.
Exactly. But anyway, so let's move on, because I want to hear how drivers are going to run Uber and Lyft. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's going to be later. But either way, let's get into our first topic right now, and that is, should Uber and Lyft drivers be a union, or would it be beneficial to be in a union?
Yeah, we should put a poll on our community page. So this came out a few days ago. The SEIU is pushing for this in California anyway. I know a lot of people do this for flexibility and freedom, and we do our surveys, and our surveys just on this topic alone. That's it. Nothing else. Drivers agree with Uber and Lyft, but on this topic alone, for one reason or another, drivers want to stay independent contractors, right? By pretty big majority, actually, like almost 75-25. Oddly enough, actually, today after this show, I'm going to jump on a Zoom call with RDU to find out how the negotiations are going for billions and dollars. You know, remember we did that segment with Nicole Moore? So we may have some news, people. We may be getting some money. Anyway, so in California, the effort comes nearly 5 years after rideshare companies blocked an attempt to recognize gig workers as employees. So that's where we're going to get the money from if you're in California and drove from 2016 to 2020 until Prop 22 kicked in. And so SEIU is spearheading this with 2 Democratic House members. They would like all of you to be union members. This is an actual union, by the way. This is not like RDU that, you know, kind of quasi-union. This is union with dues and things like that. And please put it in the chat what your feelings are about becoming a union and becoming employees. Obviously, you will get benefits. Obviously, you will get negotiating rights. Obviously, you can strike now. You can actually strike. But on the other hand, unions don't own the apps. What are the apps going to do? They're going to put schedules on you. They may even force you to wear some logo shirts and hats and things like that. So there's always
one only.
Yeah, there's always a downside of this. The one thing I agree about this article, which a lot of things I agree with, obviously, but is there is no state agency, Chris, that has been enforcing Prop 22 since it took effect. Remember when we got them hundreds of millions of dollars, drivers, because of that mileage discrepancy?
Yep.
I'm asking you, why is there no agency in charge of Prop 22? Because I think Prop 22 in California underestimates every top-off number. Why isn't there an agency looking into my money being floated for 2 weeks interest-free? All these things. Why is there no Prop 22 police? And it could be a third party. I'm not saying it's, drivers or whatever, because we have checks and balances. Why is there nobody looking into this? Where is all this 79 cents per trip and up to $1.50 for delivery? It's being taken out of the fare and it's going somewhere. It's been 5 years now, since 2020, that Prop 22 kicked in. California has the largest market of Uber, Lyft, DoorDash. Hundreds of millions of trips have taken, billions of trips have taken place. On each trip, the rider can see this. There is a 79-cent Prop 22, and it says California driver benefits charge. On each delivery, there is one that says California driver benefits charge. Okay, where is the accounting of this money? Why is there no police on this? Why is nobody looking into this? I'm going to make sure this year we get to the bottom of this, because companies, I don't know where the money is going. Companies taking the money, 79 cents and $1.50 at a time. It's going somewhere. I don't know where. Why is there no accounting of this? Are they paying out as much as they say they're paying out? Are the top-offs correct? I have no idea. So union maybe will fix these things. So what are you guys thinking? You guys want to be part of a union?
Well, so far it's right around half. So there's a poll on the
you
YouTube
put up
chat.
a poll?
So if you are there right now, it is, and the poll is actually, do you think unions would benefit drivers? So 53% are saying yes, and 47% are saying no. So it's fairly close on 53 votes, but there's a lot more people watching right now. So make sure you put your vote on what you think it is.
What was your poll question?
Do you think unions would benefit drivers?
Yes, unions would definitely benefit drivers, but the question I would ask is, do you want to belong to a union? And you want to pay dues, and you want to go?
That can be the main channel poll.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's run that poll on the main channel. Go to the community page. We'll put the poll up, and then please answer that. Because this may happen. I mean, obviously, Uber and Lyft or DoorDash are gonna fight. All the gig companies are gonna fight this tooth and nail. They're gonna say we have existing law. It's called Prop 22. You cannot override any other stuff, whatever. But we'll see. The only way these people are coming to the table is have some sort of union-backed group, like in Washington State, like in Portland now, like in Chicago now. That's the only way they're coming to the table. So maybe that's the way to get them to the table.
Yeah, there's no doubt that a union or unions would actually have a net positive impact when it comes to, getting a company to the negotiating table a lot stronger than, just the workers. So especially in this type of case where, you have Uber and Lyft drivers that are scattered throughout, there's no cohesion when it comes to you knowing any of the drivers around unless you go see them or seek them out or whatever it might be, or just from here. So it's a lot different, but yeah, if they're going to strong arm them into, bringing better pay or better conditions or anything like that, then that's great. But on the flip side, are unions good when it comes to, do you want to be part of one and all that stuff? So that's where it starts getting a little less appealing for, I'm sure, a lot of people.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And, unions have been losing, obviously, a lot of membership over the last 20, 30 years. But, at some point, I mean, you can, as a driver community, you can get pushed so much, right? You're going to turn into some more powerful allies than yourself, because as you know, we announce these strikes or demonstrations or whatever, 40 people show up. But if you're part of a union, if you do strike, you know how those go, right? I mean, thousands of people show up. So there is plus and minuses to all this. I think we will have to discuss this, in length at some point. But yeah, the polls are open. Go vote.
Yep. And let's end the poll, seeing what everybody did. So it was yeah, it's right down the middle. So 80 votes and 53% say yes, 46 to no. So Yeah, that is definitely something we'll talk about, and we'll put the poll out if you want to join the union on the community tab. So make sure you are checking that one out there. That one, you can also leave some comments and stuff like that too.
Yeah. Yep. Yes, sir.
All right. Well, let's move on. Let's talk about throttling drivers. And Matt, I see, is here. So
Yeah. Well, we have to do one of Matt every week because that's going to be our Matt's segment, Matt's corner, or something like that.
I don't know about that, but I love trolling his comments, saying like, "Hey, Uber here,
Yeah.
because you
Yeah.
didn't accept the ride, or because you canceled, or whatever it might be. Just take every ride we give you, and then we'll think about giving you reservations again."
Yeah, I
Roll on, Uber.
like those Uber support responses of yours.
Yeah.
And then at the end, I'm going to send you that, Uber in the old days, they used to send that little green bar, which it said resolved.
You got to put that in there.
I'll send you that. You just put that at the end, resolved.
Oh, this chat has ended.
Resolved.
No, if you follow me on X, I love trolling people who are complaining about Uber or Lyft. And coming, but I love trolling them, like, we know, like, from a driver's perspective, and saying like what Uber and Lyft would actually want to say to you, but can't for whatever reason. So it's a lot of fun. But either way, let's go to the actual comment itself, not the response.
Yeah.
The comment is Matt thinks that he was being shadow throttled or shadow banned from reservations because they weren't coming in. He used to see dozens of them at any time, and then it just seems like a switch was flipped and went down to nothing.
Same here.
So other drivers,
Same here. I haven't gotten a reservation in a year. I used to get a ton, and I didn't cancel any. I didn't miss any. I don't know what's going on.
Because you aren't accepting.
Uber, this is the second thing you're going to get. This is also bullshit.
You're a cherry picker. The only reason why you get reservations is if you have a 95% or better AR acceptance rate. Period.
That's not true. Well, now you're trolling me now. Sounds like that's not true. That's not true. You're trolling me now. That's not true.
For all the, for all the drivers out there that have a very high acceptance rate, and by high I mean 90+%, are you seeing reservations out there? And for everybody who has a low acceptance rate, are you seeing reservations out there? Let's solve this right now. We have 200 people watching.
How does that help the marketplace? It doesn't help the marketplace.
Well, because you get all the ants that are like, "Ooh, yeah, I'll take that," and then they're like, "Oh, good, you're going to be online now. You accept everything."
Okay, so Matt says Uber seems to shadow throttling my reservations. I like reservations. Okay, why? I live 30 miles outside. Usually they're going to LAX. I want to end up in a hot zone. Early morning reservation. Boom, grab one, go. Good. I get paid to go. Not that they pay great, but they definitely pay better than an on-demand ping. So Matt is going through the same thing, and a lot of people are going through this. Like, where are what happened to my reservations? My reservations disappeared. Is that true? Is that happening to you people? I went from seeing dozens of any given time to zero. It turned off like a switch several months ago. Same here, Matt. Same here. So when people say, "Oh, you're shill, they take care of you," I'm like, no, I don't do shit. Yeah, if they did, I would get a ride challenge for $1,000 every week. Other drivers have showed me dozens of reservations available on their app. That's true, just as I've had for years. Worse, Uber provides no information. I call support. Of course, I don't know why you waste your time there. To inquire, they said your account is in fine standing and you meet all the requirements for reservations, but we have something written in the algorithm that we cannot tell you, and you're just definitely being in reservation jail for the foreseeable future, Matt. Bum, bum, bum. Matt's in reservation jail. Welcome to my cell, Matt. I've never missed a book reservation, never canceled late, and never received a warning of any kind. Yeah, Matt, you know how this works. You're in their world, buddy. I know. There you go. And now it's blank. So is that happening to any of you? If it's happening to any of you, or you were getting it and then you just suddenly got cut off, all right, email me, Sergio at therideshareguy.com, with some proof like this, or maybe with some black hole support chat screenshots or something.
The AI bots. Yeah, either way, I think that a lot of people are upset with it because you get the surge, or not the surge, I'm sorry, the weekly quest or the weekend quest,
Well,
and you're trying to complete it, and then all of a sudden it's like you got just a few more rides to go, and there's no rides that are coming in for like an hour. But you
that definitely is true. That's true.
well, yeah, I mean, there's probably partial uh problems when it comes to throttling because it's like, oh yeah, we don't want to give you that extra bonus. But the reality is, you have how many other drivers who are out doing the exact same thing at the exact same time?
Yeah.
Supply and demand dictate one thing. You have to
Yes.
have more supply. I mean, you have to have more demand than supply in order to be able to get rides. If you don't, then you're failing to plan properly. So, I mean, yeah, I think people are just so sick and tired of being sick and tired of this whole game that both apps are trying to play on
Talking
drivers.
about game, talking about game. I mean, I'm emailing back and forth with one of our favorite guests, Mr.
Oh,
Enshitification himself.
oh, Corey.
Yeah, Corey. Corey's coming back. But no, but you know what? I also see this is when I get the heat from the drivers. I also find drivers at fault when it comes to ride challenges and quests, even if they're attempting it, right? You need to hit these things as hard as you can the first 2 days. You're
Yep.
going to leave yourself maybe 5, at max 10 left for the last day because everybody is doing what you're doing. Take it easy for a couple of days and hit it hard on Sunday. Well, there's not enough trips now to get it. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
you guys, if you do get a good one, or if you think it's worth doing, you need to hit that hard. Go about 90% through it in the first couple of days, Friday, Saturday, and then you can coast, and you'll definitely get money even if they throttle you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
And that, I mean, a lot of it does come down to supply and demand. So
yeah,
yeah, you got a lot of other drivers who are doing the same thing, and then that's the whole thing when it comes. You got to zag when they zig and zig when they zag. So
yep.
that's the whole
True.
point when it comes to that. When it comes to reservations, well, you're
Yeah,
not
there's
accepting enough rides.
no
Uh,
control there. You can't
no,
control that one.
you got to
That's
do
for
what you got to do, and go from there.
yep.
But yeah, if you notice anything, send it our way. Try to give us as much stats about yourself as well. Whether it's whether you are getting reservations and seeing them often, whether you're not. Definitely the area that you're in, your acceptance rate, cancellation rate, all those things would be great information to have because maybe we can coordinate and see if there's any sort of thing that's going on. And maybe a little bit tricky that their algorithms are catching up on. So, yeah, let us know, and then that way maybe we can figure something out.
handy.
Manchester in the house. All
Manchester,
right, well,
Man
let's go.
United or Man City? Which one? Virgil. Anyway,
I don't know, but let's go on to the next topic, and this is talking about hospital doctor office pickups and all those fun rides that are in between.
you posted
So
this one.
actually,
You
what's up?
posted this one on X.
I did, yes. I came across this one, and this was a trip that was one of those lovely third-party trips that they have. And
Yeah.
this is the message from the trip coordinator says individuals you transport for us are receiving behavioral health treatment, which could include withdrawal management or substance use treatment. It is recommended that you monitor the individuals you are transporting at the time of pickup and throughout their ride for indicators that they may be experiencing a medical emergency. If any concerns are identified, drivers should engage 911 services for real-time support. And of course, I had to comment this way. How many Uber drivers are actually medically trained? Vast majority are not. What could go wrong with this trip? They could have seizures, psychotic episodes, attack the driver, and more. All for what? Uber to make a few extra dollars? Not worth it. Decline and deny. So
Yeah,
you could tell if I saw something like that, I would absolutely hit cancel on that ride. And then I would make a mental note of the pickup and say, oh, I'm never going there again. So if I see that come in, well, it's just going to run through its thing, and you're never going to get a driver for that 10 seconds. But yeah, I mean, this is a problem. Like, first of all, they say don't drive distracted. So you should be focused on the road when you have somebody in the car, not continually monitoring for the chance that somebody is going through a behavioral issue because they're having some sort of health treatment, whether it's withdrawal which who knows what the hell they could be doing on withdrawal. The substance use, same thing. They could snap on a dime like nobody's business. So, like, do you want to put yourself into a situation like that? Some of these people, man, they are going to be strong. They're going to be fucked up, and they could come after you. And you have an elevated risk of something happening. Not only that, they could have some other type of issues where maybe they're not going to have some attack on you, but they could actually have something like a seizure. They could have something like some sort of actual medical emergency that's at a greater risk. How are you going to deal with that? You have to dial 911, or you just have people who transport already who know what they're doing, like it should be. You get the little bus or something, and you have a couple of trained professionals that are on the bus, somebody who's driving, one or two people who are transporting to and from, and you solve that problem. Why the fuck would you ever put that on drivers?
Yeah.
You're just asking for more problems than what it's worth.
Well, there's two problems with this that I see from this tweet, but we've talked about this many, many times, right? So there's hospital pickups, doctor's office pickups. Those are true medical pickups, right? On that one, the risk is different. What if somebody dies in your backseat? It could happen. It really could. Okay. What is your liability in that? Okay, that's number one. Because if you think Uber's P3 insurance's liability is going to cover you, you're smoking something. The other one now is Uber just made a deal with the San Diego County Jail, right? You can pick up at jail now. Number two, methadone clinics in California. As you know, pot is legal. You do a lot of pickups at dispensaries and things like that. So all the risk is on the driver completely. Like, there is no upside for the driver in this. You know what I'm saying? And that's why we say, do what? Have a dash cam. I mean, if you're doing these types of things, you better have a dash cam. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I mean, actually, thank you. We'll answer that question. But I agree with you. Should certain drivers who are going to do these medical trips, should they be trained? Should they at least know CPR or something, right? Because look, man, if somebody's having a seizure in your back seat or something, having a heart attack, you're going to shit your pants. If you're not trained, you don't know. I mean, I don't know. Because they don't pay enough. Seriously, they don't pay enough for the elevated risks that you're taking by picking up from methadone clinics or whatever. So, yeah. But maybe you guys like them.
I mean, like, what happens if somebody needs Narcan and that they themselves found a way to get something, and maybe it was in their back pocket, and then all of a sudden, in between the time that you're going from picking them up and getting in your car, like, something happens, and then all of a sudden they OD or whatever it might be. There's so many variables that it's just like, to me, it ain't worth it. I mean, like, not at all.
Wow, look at this one. Look at this one. Jesus. What happened? Well, we actually, you know what? Let's highlight that. Well, maybe you'll answer that. Maybe you didn't have a baby in the car?
I mean, it's happened before. we see him in the news every once in a while.
Yeah, we do. Baby born in back of the Uber.
But yeah, our question to you, would you take these medical rides, these types where there's something that says, oh yeah, there's behavioral issues or anything like that? And then same thing, when it comes to like doctor pickups, I mean, how many do you give during the day that, it's some old lady who's just going to the doctor to pick up, she's got a regular appointment. Like, that doesn't bother me in the least. Like, even picking up at some of the medical offices, because they're usually just going for whatever checkup it might be. So it's not really a big deal. But when it comes to something that's a little bit more involved, especially where there's heightened risk involved and you're not trained to do it, they shouldn't be putting that on somebody, because one, if there is a problem, what are you going to do? Like, you're going to dial 911 and hope for them to come. And then I mean, let's be real. You're doing this for money. We're not doing this for a charity to sit there and wait for the person to be okay. We hope that they're going to be okay, but we're not, I mean, you're going to be sitting there you just added an hour to that ride or so, maybe. So yeah, it comes down to these types of issues. I mean, if they want to pay out properly, if they want to train certain drivers properly, okay, well, that's a step in the right direction. But for the average person who's just turning on their Uber and Lyft app, with the barrier of entry so low and so easy to do. I mean, you got to be what, 25, have a car and insurance. That's pretty much all you got to do, and have a year driving under
You
your
don't
belt.
even
I
need a
mean,
car.
those
You
types
can rent a car. You don't even need a
yeah,
car.
I mean, those types of things, that's all you need. So
Yeah.
the low cost entry, and then you're going to give people this potential issue. I mean, come on, there's got to be a little bit more. It's like the last week when we were talking about carrying large sums of cash
Yeah.
in gig workers' cars instead of armored vehicles like they've been for the last how many decades?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, for the sake of convenience, right? It's more trips for Uber, but it's more risky for all of you. So, to each their own. But personally, when I do see a hospital pickup and things like that, after I accept it, although although you can in upfront fare cities, you can tell where you're kind of picking up. It kind of tells you.
Mhm.
If it's a medical center or hospital or whatever, I go like, no, thanks. The tough
Well,
ones
even
are these.
before, I mean, even before upfront fares, when you were just getting the pickup and you could see where the pin was, you could tell. Like if you know your area well enough, you can see where it is. Like
Yeah,
when I was started doing Uber Eats, just to trial it out because they were giving pretty good bonuses for each ride. It was like $2, $3, $4 depending on the time, per trip. But like you would know if it was McDonald's or
yeah,
something else, and it's like, oh, McDonald's, hell no, could decline.
yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, you could figure it out. You just got to pay a little bit more attention versus actually seeing the pickup location on
Well,
lower part
the
of the screen.
another downside of all those third-party trips are there's no tip involved in that, as you know.
Yeah, no.
There's 99% no tip trips unless the passenger hands you some cash or something like that. So that's the other downside, because that may make it palatable. But yeah, yep,
I don't know. I mean, I think here's the question though. If Uber or Lyft provided training for drivers for these types of rides, the question I think becomes, would this be something that you would want to partake in? Would you take the training, and would you take
yeah,
on this type of ride?
yeah. I
Put in the
mean,
comments
because
because I'd love to know.
I personally would. Yeah, I would take the training. I mean, the other thing is, I think the most important thing in all of this is the pay is not any different than a regular trip. I
Yeah.
look at everything, as you know, with stocks and things like that. Okay, risk reward. What is my risk? What is my reward? How do I manage risk? Right. I don't know anything about medicine, so I cannot manage risk when it comes to this. If something goes sideways, it may be 1 out of 1,000,000, but if it happens to you once, I don't know how to manage this risk, so I'm not going to take it on.
Well, hold
So,
on. 1 out of 1,000,000 just means it's one every hour.
I 100% agree. 100% agree, and I'm sure it's more. I'm sure it's more.
Oh.
But I don't know. Yeah, I would definitely take the training, and I would also like to get paid more because I'm taking more risk, right?
Mhm.
Like you said, like as you said in the text or the screenshot you posted, these people may be mentally deranged or they may have mental issues or whatever. I mean, I'm taking way more risk, period.
Mhm. Yeah,
So
especially when it comes to behavioral. I mean, when it comes to other transportation, because there is different types of medical transportation, and it's just depending on what it might be. Like,
yeah,
I mean,
oh,
that's kind of the big thing. So, yeah, I think a lot of it is that these healthcare agencies are just trying to cheap out. Having actually trained staff and an actual transportation equipment costs money, and to keep it up and make sure it's working in proper condition. Usually you're not going to have just one, because if something goes wrong with it, you have to still transport these people to and from whatever it might be. Then obviously the staff on hand to do it, it's expensive. And of course, everybody's trying to take the cheap and easy way out. So that's why they're like, oh, yeah, we could just hire Uber and Lyft drivers because they'll be able to get them to wherever. But they're not thinking, they're thinking at the surface level. They're not looking beyond that. They're not saying, well, yeah, these people could potentially have problems. How are they actually going to deal with it? I mean, think of a school bus. When your kids are getting off the school bus, the school district is actually in charge of your kid and liable for your kid until they walk into your door.
yeah,
So it's the same type of thing here when it comes to these medical rides. How are they going to be liable? Oh, hey, we put them in the car. That's all we have to do. So they're going to wipe their hands and then say, oh, well, can't help it there. There's a lot of issues. I mean, we could go on for a while talking about this, but
Yeah,
I'm sure everybody's probably getting pretty bored. So let's
yeah.
move on.
Let's do it.
Speaking of distracted driving, it is April, distracted driving month, and that potentially could have been distracted driving by having somebody in the back seat who could be having mental issues and behavioral issues, and you got to keep them. But beyond that, when it comes to distracted driving, oh, good old Uber.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's from my app. Sergio. Well, not but from my app anyway. On this one, it didn't say Sergio somehow. Distracted driving is dangerous. Okay. Well, Uber, you need to watch
thanks.
this segment really carefully. Okay. And Lyft, both of you.
Trip radar, 10-second
mostly
timer.
Uber. Mostly Uber. Yeah. Please avoid reading this while driving. Well, now, if you did not pop this while I was driving, because I'm a trained dog, that I read everything that pops up in my app, maybe you should just wait until I have the app off. How about that? Okay, that's one. Number two, April is Distracted Driving Awareness Month. Great. Did you know that you can play a key part in helping reduce distracted driving? Fantastic. According to the NHTSA, in 2023, an estimated 325,000 people were injured in motor vehicle crashes involving distracted drivers. Wonderful. Please take a few moments to watch this optional short video to learn about how to help keep you, your riders, and everyone else on the road safe. Remember that when you sign up with Uber, you agree to help keep one another safe and follow Uber's community guidelines. All right, Chris, let's make a list while we're here online to tell Uber how many things in the app literally force us to be distracted while we're driving.
The biggest offender, trip radar.
There's one.
The next one, 10-second timer.
I'm checking that. I think they cut the time. I think they cut it to 8 seconds now. But I'm gonna check that, do a video actually. Do you guys, by the way, I have a high suspicion that Uber, not Lyft, Uber cut the ping to 8 seconds now. You guys feel that? But I'm gonna check it with a timer actually. Okay, how about forward dispatch, Chris?
Mm-hmm.
Right? While we're just about to finish a trip, bing, another one comes through, right? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Uber, these are all your concoctions to squeeze more trips into your network. They are all contributing to distracted driving. This is not on us, Uber. This is on you. So when you do send me this, it's kind of hypocritical that you send me that, distracted driving is dangerous. Of course it is, Uber, because besides my passenger's life, my life is at stake. However, we are trained like Pavlov's dogs with all your whistles and noises and sounds and colors and all this shit that I can't help it. Because if I'm driving and a trip radar pops up, I have to look. And all it takes is one look away from the road, right? For me to be distracted and go hit something. So how about you take this more seriously than the drivers? And maybe, while we're going, maybe you should only send us trip radar while the car is not moving at all. Because I know there is a speed limit. Like when you go over 20 miles or 25 miles, Uber stops sending you TR or trip radar. But forward dispatch is another one. There's a lot of things in the app that just makes us more distracted than we need to be. So I think Uber, you need to take this seriously yourself.
The other thing too is the Lyft ride switcheroo. That's a very distracted thing too.
That's very distracting. I mean, that, as I said, it not Uber, just Lyft as well. Look, these apps are trying to squeeze as many trips as they can, right? And how do you think Uber gets to 1.3 million trips per hour, every hour, 24/7, 365? By doing these kind of things. Okay. And yeah, so it's
that's
your
like
product
some of
that
the
is making us distracted mostly.
yeah, but that's like saying it's like the same people in Davos who go to that meeting every year and say, "Oh, we got to save the world and the planet," and they're flying in their private, big, giant, jumbo private jets,
Yeah.
spewing a shit ton of fuel and jet fuel and all that, and like it's the same thing here. They're like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna post it on Face, but don't dive too far into it because again, surface level. We're only gonna look at the surface. You're just gonna see the top layer. Don't look at it below. Don't see the iceberg."
Yeah, I agree. And I think the companies can do quite a lot more on their end to end this distracted driving nightmare, right? And what did companies complain about the most, Chris? Commercial insurance, right?
Mhm. Well, there's a reason why.
There's one of the reasons that while I'm driving and chip radar pops up and I have to look at it, right? Okay. Or a
I
forward
mean,
dispatch
that's
pops
one
up or
reason.
anything else that
Yeah, that's one reason, but it's a very small reason. Uninsured motorist is a huge reason, and so is um, the lawyers and lawsuits and all that stuff
Oh,
too.
without a question. Without a question.
Those are the largest chunks. Those are the biggest problems. So yeah, it's a little bit, but the problem is you don't want to have an accident. You don't want to be out of the game. You don't have to face injury or a lawsuit if you have somebody in the car or anything like that. Um, so with that being said, how can you make yourself less distracted while driving, even when Uber and Lyft are doing these things? Well, I'll tell you what. First off, on Lyft, the ride switch rule, turn it off. Don't allow the ride switches to happen. We talked about this 2 weeks ago at this point, I think it was.
Yeah.
So turn that off. So you don't have to have that switcheroo. When it comes to Uber, turn off and Lyft, turn off new requests when you are on a ride. So you don't
Yep.
have to worry about somebody who's in the car and then you're distracted by looking at your phone and seeing. Not only that, the passenger could potentially report you for being distracted while driving. And
There
that's
you go.
Uber or Lyft literally sending you a ride request coming in as you are finishing up the ride. So yeah, it's just easier to swipe it up, say stop new requests on both apps, and then that way you don't have to worry about it. Then when you're done, turn the app back on. So that
I
will
agree.
help. When it comes to trip radar, the biggest thing is if you are actually driving and repositioning yourself, then you know what? At that point, either accept it or like without looking at it, which is not the smart thing to do, or just let it go through. But the best, smartest thing is when you don't have a butt in the car, uh, pull it aside of the road and wait, because then that way you're not driving and you're reducing the amount of risk and possible risk of being distracted while driving, because you won't be driving at that point. So those are a few things that you could do when it comes to trying to be a safer driver on the road when all these bells, these whistles, all these issues that are going on with these apps trying to squeeze every bloody dime out of you.
Yeah, I agree with Chris 1,000,000%. There are things you can do, but Uber and Lyft can do also better. And I think they should. Yeah.
Yeah, increasing the timer to 15 seconds would probably be the best start for Lyft or for Uber.
I
Something
think
more
if
like
Uber
Lyft does.
matches Lyft, which I know it's a 15 seconds, I think 15 seconds is okay. I still think it's short, but let's say 15 seconds
Yep.
should be like the minimum. I honestly, I'm actually, you know what? Right after the show, I'm going to go test it. I'm going to get
Or
a.
you know what? You know what's even better? That, having something like one of those wonderful apps that you have out there that will allow you to get a ride request or not based on your preferences.
Hmm,
So if you want certain preferences that you're
yeah.
able to put into the app, and they will not give you a preference or a ride request unless that preference is matched on
And
all
it auto
parameters.
accepts and declines and turns one off, turns the other one on. Yeah, there's a couple. Although Uber mostly is trying to kill these third-party apps. You know, actually, I got an email from the largest third-party app in Brazil that Uber is trying to bury. We may have them on the show. Actually, they're coming to the U.S. That's like Maximo or Mistro, right?
Mhm.
You put it on, you put your filters on. That's it. You forget about it. It declines, it accepts. That's it. I think, yeah, it's a lot safer to have those third-party apps on, but Uber is trying to kill all these third-party apps because it it lowers acceptance rates, right? Because no driver, once they set their filters, they're not going to set it for like $4 an hour. You know what I'm saying?
No,
It's going to be reject, and then we have the
which is
network
fine.
waiting problems,
You know,
spinner
if
problems.
they already have an acceptance rate problem, let it go a
Yeah.
little bit further.
Yeah.
Because maybe then they'll finally get the picture. But what they're trying to do is they're trying to boil the frog with warm water first and slowly boiling it because they have the acceptance rate problem. They already said if drivers aren't accepting rides, it's on them because they're pricing the rides wrong. They still will not listen to it, even though it came out of his mouth. He still will not listen to it, and they
Yeah.
won't change the pay. And so if you're still getting a $3 ride come in, yeah, that's a reason why people aren't accepting it. If that same $3 ride was coming in at $7, well, I'm sure probably 90% of people will take it.
Yeah. Well, remember the $3 trip I got 8 times in a row? Like,
Yeah, that's what I'm basing it off of.
Sir, Uber, if I say no means no, Uber. Seriously.
Yep.
If we're on a date and I'm a girl and they got no, is no. You know what I'm saying, Uber? Let's figure we're on a date.
Wink.
Yeah, no means no. So anyway, yeah, let's go.
All right. Well, let's move on. Let's talk about the FTC suing Uber. Yes, bittersweet.
Yeah.
I think that would be the term, but they're saying that the company charged for Uber One without consent. Oh snap! No means no, Uber. No means no.
Well, this just broke like yesterday.
If you're gonna,
I guess Tony West's and Dara's 1 million donation to Trump's inauguration did not help that much, because this is Trump's FTC, by the way. This is not Biden's FTC. FTC, my hat's off to you. Although a lot of companies do this. You know how subscribing to something is so easy? How many clicks usually it takes to subscribe to something?
One. Put in your payment information, confirm.
Yeah. How many clicks does it take on a lot of apps to unsubscribe? Like if you can find it,
to begin first.
Yeah. You know what this is like? In the old days, there used to be this thing called the Roach Motel, right? That was like this little thing: roaches get out, but roaches cannot get out. Like this, like that. Once you subscribe, you cannot. But Uber got caught with their hand in the cookie jar. What's up? What's happening? It's not cool, Uber. And oddly enough, Chris, the same day that lawsuit broke, okay, Uber sends me this on the right-hand side. This is for my Rider app. Sign up for Uber One.
Enjoy 6% of Uber credits on eligible rides.
You know what the next one should be by the FTC? Remember we talked about it last week? That 20% off is actually not 20% off.
Oh, yeah. Seeing
you remember that one? Yeah, they jack up the price 20% and they give you the exact. I'm like, wow. So FTC, this is the next one.
I wonder if part of that would be in this when they're looking at it.
That's not in this. This is simply sued Uber, accusing the ride-hailing and delivery company of deceptive billing and cancellation practices tied to its subscription service, Uber One. Okay. The agency claims Uber violated the FTC Act and the Restore Online Shoppers Confidence Act. I didn't even know those acts existed, but now I know. By providing misleading information about its Uber One subscription service, failing to provide a simple way for users to cancel that membership, and charging them without their consent. That was the lawsuit about. But the lawsuit also should look into, is that 20% discount actually a 20% discount? It's not. It is not. It is definitely not, FTC. So the FTC sued Uber on Monday, alleging deceptive billing practices. Okay. And the Trump-Vance FTC, this I did not expect, actually, Chris. This I expected from Lina Khan and Biden's FTC, but I did not expect this from Trump FTC. The regulator claimed that customers are wrongly promised savings. That touches on that. Look at that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I said I think that this is that takes part of it into it.
That's tight. Good job, FTC. Yes. The claim that customers are wrongly promised savings when they sign up for Uber One. Yes. Yes. Look, Uber's watching this. I know they're gonna go like, this guy hates us. I don't hate you, Uber. I think you're doing a good job and providing a livelihood for a lot of people. But I'm still kind of baffled about your guy in Chicago mentioning me in a mediation meeting or negotiations with the city people. Please don't do that. And I know I'm going to talk to the person that I need to talk to, but get your dogs off of me because I'm not there to talk. So don't put my name in your mouth when I'm not there. But let's go, heads off to the FTC, the Trump FTC. There you go. And I thought actually this wouldn't happen under Trump's FTC. They wouldn't squeeze companies that are breaking the law. Well, Uber will defend this, obviously. So,
of course they will, but
maybe
it's just like Adobe. That was a big thing a couple of years ago with the subscription model. It was like almost impossible, and they would do everything they could to try to not allow you to. Like you literally had to follow this entire process before they had to change it. So, it's something similar to that. And I heard, I forget where, but this was like a couple of months ago, and they were talking about how that they didn't think that these types of things would be a problem with Trump's FTC because they're like, oh well, yeah, it's not a big deal, and
a little like sleight of hand,
It's like the opposite is about to happen, and that's exactly what's going on. So yeah, you might be able to see a little cancel subscription button that's a little bit clearer.
Or a credit. I don't have Uber One because I know it doesn't work. As I know it's all hocus pocus. But see, the Rich says this. I don't know about that. No, not that one. Rich says it started under Trump. Yeah, but they could have buried it. They could have put that thing in the round file for the next 4 years. They didn't. They brought it forward. Come on now. You got to give,
because they're still going to look at something and they're going to say, yeah, go ahead or throw it out.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right. So, yeah, Uber, a little sleight of hand, But I mean, I'm not defending Uber by any means, but a lot of, like, if you go subscribe on Disney on Roku, let's say, right? I swear to God, it's like one click and then you're done, subscribe, right? And then a month later, right? Because they usually give it like a month for free or something, right? Mm-hmm. And a month later, you don't want to unsubscribe. Swear to God, you have to email them. They have to send you a code. You have to put that code in the box. I'm like, bro, one click in, one click out. How about that? Yeah. Yep. No.
Or, the easiest thing to do is you get a privacy.com virtual credit card, and then you get different credit card numbers for each subscription service. And then they want to play that game. You just turn the card off and they can continue trying to charge the account, and they won't get any money because you turn that card off. That's the other way around things.
That's a good idea. And you know how they'll bug you, right? 2 months before your card is about to expire, put a new card in.
Yeah. No. This what I like about that is because, well, first off, it helps protect anonymity when you're online. So, I mean, how many data breaches have we had already? So, if you have a virtual card, you can get a virtual card for each and every single service or subscription that you are using. Give them that card information, and then you can put like every let's say it's supposed to draw out on the 15th of the month. Let's say you put it in the 14th of the month for the $12.95 that it is. You put it in $13 on the account, and then you're like, well, the next month comes around, and you're like, I don't really want it. So Uber One wasn't worth it for me. They're having all these problems, and you can't actually cancel the service. So you just go into your virtual card and you say, oh, do not allow this to fulfill, meaning don't fulfill the money to put onto that account. And guess what? They try bringing in that thing. It's going to say insufficient funds, and you're going to be like, I don't care.
How do you know about that? That's a good idea, actually. Yep. All right, cool. Let's go.
Yep. So that's another way around it, and that's like the second layer. So it really helps you protect yourself when it comes to these types of things. But definitely check that out if you haven't already and you are more interested. All right, let's move on. Let's talk about Lyft expanding. Lyft is finally expanding into other countries outside the US and Canada after many, many years. And they said, oh, we're not going to expand into food delivery, but they've partnered with DoorDash. And, now they're actually going into Europe. So, yeah,
I like
11
this move actually. I
countries.
like this move quite a bit, but because the
Mhm.
regulations in Europe are a lot harder on rideshare companies than it is in the US and around the globe. Employee rights and labor protections and things like that.
Yep.
So they went and took over a company called Free Now, which is a cab company with an app, and they're going to put it on Lyft. And I like this move quite a bit. $200 million was the purchase price. So see, I talk about a lot of these finance stuff on my finance channel, so please go check that out. But I like this move. I like this move quite a bit. So that now they're in Canada, obviously US, and 11 countries in Europe. So I think Richard has made the right move in this one. Stock is still $11, still like nowhere really. So Freena is a cab company, actually, people. Just like Uber has put cabs, even in the US, on their platforms. This is a full-on cab company. It's 150 cities across, but 11 countries: United Kingdom, Germany, Greece, Spain, Italy, Poland, France, and Austria. And I think this will be accretive meaning additional to Lyft's earnings and revenue. I think this is the right move. If you're going to expand through these types of organic expansion is very difficult when it comes to rideshare. Acquisition of rider, acquisition of driver is really, really expensive. And you go buy a company with already a ready marketplace, and then you don't have to worry about it too much either, because they're already past all the regulatory scrutiny already. So you just have a running business that you just added to your plate. And I think this is a good move. I really do.
I think it's a good move for them when it comes down to it. Maybe it'll actually help their stock price a little bit, but other than
Yeah.
that, they gotta work towards it. So they're definitely a little tree, and you want to get a little bit bigger. Well, you got to do things like this.
Yeah, I agree. And it's expansion, expansion. And look, man, it's a tough business, honestly. Rideshare is a tough
Mhm.
business. So margins are low. Historically, rideshare has, delivery, rideshare, cab business, let's say, trucking, very low margin business. That's why they have to do all these things through their technology and algorithms, evil algos, to squeeze all the blood out of the rock. And when there's no blood left in the rock, it's a tough business to be in. It really is. Well, after 11 years, 12, 15 years, whatever we had rideshare, the fact that Uber is hardly profitable and Lyft is still not GAAP profitable shows that this is a tough, tough business. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Yeah. So we'll see. But yeah.
All right. Well, let's move on. Let's talk about why you should not turn auto accept on when you are doing your trips. In fact, you should
Yeah.
probably do stop new requests. But this
And
isn't
if
in
this
rides.
doesn't
This is
open you
just
guys'
in
eyes,
general.
yeah.
When you get a ride coming in, that you should not be accepting auto accept. And this is the way it should actually be, Sergio.
Yeah,
Not the other way around that we had discussed 2 weeks ago. But
yeah,
this is the right way.
yeah. I think he's in the chat. So Mike sent me this from Tampa. He drives Excel. And I titled it, "Why should one not have auto accept on?" He goes, "Hey Sergio, got a good one from Saturday night. Lyft pricing shenanigans, big time. For context, this is peak bar closing time in downtown St. Pete, Florida, on Saturday night. You can get $17 for a short 3 to 5 mile rides. Take a close look at these two screenshots. See, this is why I like the community, right? And
Mhm.
they send this to me, and I package it in a way to make people understand that having auto accept on, accepting everything, working the way they want you to work, is counterproductive to your financial health. Okay. The one on the left was offered as an add-on. So that's what Chris was talking about, right? Um, You know how
Yeah,
they
the queue.
queue, put it in your queue on Lyft. And there was a question, Chris. Somebody asked, "How do you turn that off?" It's in your app, man. You just got to go play around with your app a little bit. You'll figure it out.
We have a video, I believe, that actually shows that.
Okay. Well, go on to check on the channel. So the one on the left was offered as an add-on, so queued up while he was still on a trip, while I was dropping off a current rider. I declined it. The one on the right was offered as a normal ping the instant after I dropped off the current rider. Yes, I took it. No shit. Of course you took it. But if you were on auto accept, Chris, you would have accepted that 1709. No ifs, no buts about it. You should always have a choice of, look, once in a while, and look at the hourly difference, Chris. Not that the 1709 was a horrible chip. It wasn't a horrible chip.
Well, hold on. Before you go on, let's break it down just so people who are listening can understand what you're talking about. So, the first ride request that came in, Mike was dropping off a person. You get that stacked ride, you get the queue. So the first one that came in when it was him dropping off the ride was for 1709, and it was 2 minutes away, 0.2 miles, for a 22-minute ride or a 17.2 mile trip. And it was coming in at 1709. And of course, you got to love what Lyft does now with the little hour estimate. It's $42.72 for this ride. But he said, nope, not good enough. So what he did was he ended the ride, and right after, then he got the same exact ride request that came in. But the difference is just the pickup, because it was a little bit further away than where it was. And here's a fun fact that shows you where you are currently for the queue. That doesn't show you where you're going to be from the actual drop off. So it could be like, oh yeah, they're right around the corner, but then it's going to be 1.5 miles away or something, kind of like what you see on the right screenshot. So the next screenshot, the only thing that's different, it's still a 22-minute, 17.2 mile ride, but the pickup is 4 minutes or 1.2 miles away. So about 1 mile difference, no big deal. But here's where the kicker is. The price that they're going to pay him went from 1709 to 3813, which is almost it's actually $20 and some change more than what he would have gotten just by the auto accept. So it goes, instead of $42.72 an hour, it jumped up to $87.99 an hour because he didn't accept the ride on it. He didn't have auto accept on and played it smart.
Well, I mean, on the face of it, 1709 is not horrible. Okay. 42.72 an hour.
It's like $1 a mile if you look at it that way.
Yeah, $1 a mile,
42 an hour
per hour, right? Okay. But this is an Excel offer, by the way. This is not X or whatever. And 38 is a lot better, obviously. And yeah, man, you got to be picky in this game. You can't just go, I love it. So $42 an hour. Great. I'm like, yeah. But if a veteran driver knows what to expect, peak bar hour, probably surging, do 1709 in that half hour, he can probably do 3 $10 surge trips, which will bring his hourly to 60 anyway. But you have to kind of play the game, right? We are all in the simulation together. We got to play this game. And one of the reasons I think they paid the second offer that came in as a regular ping, because he did take the second trip, and look at what they charged the passenger, Chris. So on the first trip, they would have charged 77 and would have paid you 17. And then the algo goes, I'm going to throw him a bone. I'm going to send him to $38. And, Lyft still came out, smelling roses. I mean, it wasn't that bad for Lyft either, right? And they charged the rider 77 and paid him 38. That kind of makes it reasonably palatable, actually. And there you go. So be picky, man. Don't work the way they want you to work. Don't accept everything. If you think the algo is going to do you justice, and you say the algo knows better, I'm just going to relax and accept everything, you have another thing coming your way. So yeah, that's the lesson of the day.
So yeah, the smart move is turn off new requests, so you don't have to. I believe we made a video on that. that shows you how to do that. I believe it's in the yearly app tutorials, the driver app that shows you how to accept and deny and cancel rides. I believe it's in there, so you could probably check that out. Joe just recently did that probably about a month or two ago, so it's not too far away. So you could check that out if you do not know how to do that. But yeah, it's basically when you're on the ride, when you're sitting there waiting for the passenger to come, or if the ride just started, if you know what you're doing, you just press a couple of buttons before you leave, hit stop new requests. You won't have that coming in. So that's a good little thing there.
Yep, for sure.
All right. Anything left on that or no?
Nope, that's it.
All right. Well, let's move on. Let's talk about the Sunshine Man. He ain't going to be in the sunshine no more. He's going to be the snow. He's going to be the snowman.
No, freeze his ass, man. That's what it's going to do.
He's going to be the snowman. So our good friend and follower of the show, Jeff, the Sunshine Man. I don't know if he's here. I didn't see him or not, but
I didn't see him either.
Not,
but
I'm sure he's busy packing right now, going from Myrtle Beach to Colorado. He's probably the reason why there was the mannequin with hair last year or last week when we were talking about the weirdest things that were left in an Uber or Lyft. I'm sure that it was probably a couple of those people that said, why is there a mannequin head with hair and that on here? But either way.
Good old Jeff. Jeff is leaving the beautiful South Carolina, Charleston to be exact, to move to Colorado, Denver, Colorado. And so he's probably the top tip getter in the country. And there are reasons for that.
Keep it there. I said, let's see if you can keep it there.
Yeah, I doubt it. Well, we're going to definitely keep track of it. And so he's moving to Colorado. But then there was the what was this? WBTW, B7W or TW, whatever, did an expose on Jeff. And they were in his driveway. They showed inside his car. Inside his car, by the way, he's here. He's here, right here. Sunshine Man, we're giving you your goodbye from Charleston, South Carolina to frozen tundra of Denver. And we were debating if you're going to still get the same amount of tips. So obviously you will keep us posted. And they did a video with Jeff. They showed inside his car. Inside his car, the reason it's called an Uber museum is because Jeff's literally the headliner everywhere in the car is covered by foreign currency, which his riders over the last 10,000 plus trips have given to him. I don't know how many countries. I think it's up to 65 countries so far. And Myrtle Beach, sorry. The Jeff's stint at Myrtle Beach is coming to an end, but he's going to Colorado, and he's going to have to be a little more careful driver when it's snowing, especially. And that's where it's happening. So, Jeff, safe trip. I'm sure you'll keep us posted of your new found friends doing rideshare in Denver or Colorado, whatever city you're moving in. So be safe. We love you. And here it is. That's Jeff.
All right. Yep, we'll have to see. I'm more interested if he's going to keep the tip king of the U.S. or not, but we'll see. Either way,
tip king.
Good luck out there. Good luck out there, and definitely be careful in the snow.
Yeah, definitely do. Yeah.
All right. Let's move on. Let's talk about what would you do if you were here in this situation? So a couple of posts. The first one was a ride request personal shopper edition. And would you take this? So it says, hey, buddy, I don't need this is a text message coming in saying, hey, buddy, I don't need a ride at the moment. But I was looking for you to stop at the gas station for me. I need 2 18 packs of Miller Lite, 1 pack of Marlboro Menthol Light, and 1 pack of Marlboro Red pack. I'll give you an extra 100 on top of what it costs. What are you doing?
This is on our community page. We post a lot of stuff on it and polls and things like that. So go check it out. Would you do it?
Hell no.
First of all, this is a rideshare trip that the guy ordered. He could have ordered this through DoorDash, Uber Eats, whatever he wants, right? It's kind of, I'm getting bad vibes out of this. Why would you order a rideshare trip and do this? I'm going like,
Because you under 21.
my spidey sense is going up because because he doesn't have Uber One subscription.
Well, here's the thing.
I'd be like,
it's probably a kid.
my radar is going up. I think I'm about to get carjacked. So especially when I read that. So I'm gonna go put my money up, buy this guy 2 packs of cigarettes, two packs of 18 packs, and with the hope that I'm gonna get 100 on top.
On top of what it costs.
Yeah.
So in other words, again, this
the
is
answer
underage.
Is no.
I want to say with 90% certainty, underage.
Yep.
And that is why they didn't use, the other means that would be
but
able
underage. How did they order the trip?
Because underage don't have Uber accounts. Come on.
Oh, of course they do. I'm not saying they don't. So what do you guys say? Put yes or no, or
I'm
one
not
or
talking
two.
to Sergio. Why would Sergio be asking me how would an underage person have an account? Seriously, bro? Seriously? I mean, how many times have you gone to a school and picked up somebody that was supposed to pick up somebody and
their parents
4-year-old comes out?
The trip. Most of the time, their parents order the trip. But no, okay, let's get back to the subject. Would you guys do it or not? Put 1 in the chat if yes. Put no in the chat if no. Considering there's 100 on top of what you're going to spend out of pocket. Or when you do show up to this address with the beer and the smokes, you're going to have a gun to your head and you're going to also lose your car, not only the beer that you bought. What do you guys think? I will not do this. So
I wouldn't do it, but I also don't think you're going to get carjacked. I think it's an underage kid that wants to have some fun with whoever they're with.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't either. Hell no. I like how the time jumps though. So if you look, it says Sunday 12:25 a.m. and then underneath it says 12:31 a.m. So, a couple of minutes have passed. So the question is, after that point, then what do you do? Do you just cancel the ride, or do you go to the pickup and then say no show? Especially if you probably already started driving.
You buy the beer, you buy the smokes, you go there, and then you go back.
No. Okay, no. You're not. Listen to what I'm saying. What would you do in the situation? Because it's a ride request, and you 6 minutes have already passed from 12:25 to 12:31. You're 6 minutes worth of driving at this point. What do you do? Like, are you going to go to the pickup location, wait the time, and then say, "Oh, the rider wasn't there to get your cancellation fee"? Because if you cancel at this point, you're going to lose money.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah,
I would.
What would you do in that situation?
Yeah,
don't even think about. I mean, clearly we're not going to do the ride.
I would
what would you do to get your money?
If my clock is up, I would cancel it for sure. But then I'm on my way to you, probably, and then. See, I don't know the exact context of this. So I got the ping. I accepted the ping. Then the text comes through. As soon as I see this text, within 30 seconds, I would make up my mind, regardless how far I drove to you. If I'm going to even get a cancellation fee or not, I would cancel this trip. I wouldn't do it. That's what I would.
Yeah. I still think it's a kid. Honestly, they're just a couple of kids trying to have a good night or something. And we'll just order it from an Uber.
Yeah, that's fair. But so yeah, a lot of people said no, and a lot of people said, yeah, send me the 100 up front. Well, seriously, like they're gonna do that. Venmo me the 100 up front. I'll go buy the shit that you want, which is not gonna amount to 100 anyway, with your 100 in case I bring it to you, and then at least I'll have maybe 60 left for tip as opposed to the 100. But no, I wouldn't do it. So on the second one, this is different. First of all, that looks like contraband.
What are you talking about, man? That's just some powdered sugar.
You think so?
Somebody's baking a cake.
Let me tell you something. That's flour, buddy. It's like that looks like a lot of Coke, bro. I don't know. But anyway, so this is another. What would you do? I think we should do
bottle. I don't know what you're talking about. There's no bottle there.
There's no rolled $100 bill.
Sugar. We're just looking to we're just looking to make some cookies.
Oh, this is, you know what this is? This is when you go pick up the.
Yeah, right.
That's all you got. That's all you got for you right there. So I think we should do this a segment. What would you do? So what would you guys do about this little gift that your rider left behind? And then now, see, this is what's going to happen. Okay.
See, I'll tell you why it's not Coke, and I know that.
Okay.
Because they're taking a picture of this. Their head isn't stuffed down there waiting for a good time. So come on, that's just freaking powdered sugar because they just picked somebody up at Walmart who's going to
Okay.
bake grandma's cookies.
Okay, sure. and you know what's going to happen to this? The rider is going to get out of the car. They're going to get to their party, and they're going to go, "Oh, look what I got! Oh shit! What happened?"
do we know where this ride came from? Because that is true. It could be somebody who's sweating a lot, so that they're putting a little bit in there so they can be a little drier, but they put a little too much in, so the baby powder made it all over the car.
And this rider, this nice rider, you're not going to complain about an item left behind. But so okay, here it is. What would you do if you're a driver? I mean, look, you're doing these trips. It's in the dark. It looks like at night anyway. Next person comes in and sees all this shit and then goes, "Oh, my driver's doing coke." Sorry, whatever. Or powdered sugar, as in Chris's case.
At that point, you're just like,
and it's like the seats, like there's all over the seat too. And I go like, yeah, that's grounds for deactivation for you, sir. I don't know. That's why. Okay, here's the solution for all of this. That's why, out of thousands of trips I've done, I've dealt maybe with 2 or 3 items left behind which I could not see because they were in the crack or they were under the seat or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
When you're done with the trip, don't become Mario Andretti and take off like a bat out of hell because Uber sent you another trip. Okay, they can wait. Pull over, turn the lights on in the car if it's at night, check the back seat. It's a lot easier to return the garbage that they left behind right then and there, as opposed to going through the hassle of getting the $20 and all that texting back and forth and shit like that. So in this case, I probably would have seen this before the next passenger walked in, and I would have sold it probably. It's like, I don't know. Yeah, that's this is a tough one here, bro. I don't know. I wouldn't go to the police station, that's for sure. But anyway, so
yeah. Well, I mean, you could always pinpoint the last person, but either way, those are a couple of situations that could be a little dicey. All day in life of a rideshare driver.
Yep. Oh, did I mention?
No, you didn't.
So I have a video coming out tomorrow, guys. That's under Sergio's Diaries. You guys need to watch that because I ended it exactly with that sentence, Chris. All in the life of a rideshare driver. When they made me take that safety training video and test in order for me to log on. You guys need to watch that. Maybe it's happening to you guys too in your cities. I don't know, because it was the first time in 11 years or.
No, I can go online perfectly fine.
You can? Yeah, maybe it's a California thing. Yeah, but it's probably a California thing. But so you guys watch that.
What was it? That training for rain or whatever?
No. This is you're gonna. I'm not gonna give it away. This is a lot to do with.
I'll just watch the video then. Fine.
Okay, this is a lot more to do with no rain. Rain, no. Rain is okay. This is a lot to do with the all the letters in the alphabet plus.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. So I was trained.
All right. So
I passed the test. So.
Well. So you knew what it all stood for?
I had to read. First, I had to read like 10 pages of something, and then I had to take a test. So.
Oh my God! I'd be like, you got to pay me for that shit.
I felt like a complete employee. I was like, wow. Okay, cool.
Look, this is employee training. Yeah. I ain't dealing with that shit. Get the fuck out of here. 100%. All right. With that being said, we are going to start, or we're going to put out the link for coming on the show. We're going to be doing the driver's corner. So the topic is, and I'm sure it's going to be a great one for Alia, and that is, if you were the CEO of Uber or Lyft or Uber and Lyft, what would you do?
Come on down.
Link is being put out right now, so you can come on and let us know. And we'll see from there. With that being said, we're gonna go back to some super chats and QAs. So we're going to be talking about that. Give me 1 second.
I may or may not play devil's advocate on that one. So,
well, it depends. I mean, here's the thing. You remember what I said about surface and then the depth of everything? Yeah. So let's see who is actually a real business owner and who is just a pipe dream thinker.
Yeah.
All right. So funny person, thank you for the super chat. What are your thoughts? Uber is offering video audio recording within the app. Good idea to use with dash cam or not use the feature? Use it. I mean, use it because it's there, it's added. The problem is it stays on your phone. So it can take up space. So as long as it's not going to be there, but having any addition to your dash cam footage or a recording device or whatever it might be is just going to be good. So you can use it. I wouldn't rely on it. It's not going to take the place of a dash camera in any way, because I mean, let's look at your phone. If you're driving at night, your phone is going to be fixed on you. So it's going to be sitting there. It's going to be fixed right on you. It's only going to see you. A dash camera is a wide angle lens that is going to get everything that's happening within the car, whether it's dark or light out, because it's going to have the infrared lighting. So it will be able to pick up at night as well as during the day. You get forward facing, all that stuff, but you'll also get audio. So it's going to be a much better overall thing. So yes, I think it's a good tool to have. Yes, you could use it if you'd like. But I would not rely on it as the end all be all. I still would get a dash camera and have a dash camera. So you don't have to worry about it. It's just good to have backups.
Picture is worth 1,000 words. Video is worth 1,000,000 words. There you go.
Absolutely.
Dash cam is it, man. I wouldn't mess with
Uber.
Hey,
what's going on? The last one shit in your car. Holy man.
No, Roxy, why did these things happen to you, Roxy? By the way, Roxy's in San Antonio, I think now. She goes, I'm doing cash chips. I mean, Roxy, are you out of your mind? Do you have like a death wish? What's happening?
Man,
Roxy's got balls, bro. Roxy's got more balls than most drivers out there. So I'm like, hey.
I hope it was a little poodle and not a person, but I have a feeling it's a person, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Eugene says, please talk about Uber blocking Uber Green and Comfort Electric from the Riders app. Full electric drivers aren't able to get higher tier trips like Uber Green and Uber Comfort Electric. Yeah, they love doing that, don't they?
Well, it goes to show that you have zero control in this business. Circle of control, circle of influence. You have no control. None. So what they do in the app, what car they remove your car from the platform that you were on the day before, how they switch around the preferences, how they commingle all preferences of shared, comfort, and X in one, you have no control. So that's that. There you go. Maybe you should come on and talk about it as a Uber CEO. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Turn off a ride switching on Lyft. How? Like I said, yes, open up your app. You can go check that out. Basically, on the Uber, it's a little bit easier than the Lyft, but all you got to do is when you get a ride. What happened?
I was gonna do it, but I can't. I have to go
California disclosure.
My annual or whatever background check is up, but I go not now. Okay, so I can get around it.
Go online.
What you have to do is go to the 3 bars up top, up left, click on that, go to vehicles and devices. Is it in there? Account? It's somewhere there. Or go to the little book looking thing.
Well, it depends on what app you have. I mean, what phone?
Oh, okay. No, I got you. Okay, so go to next to go online button. There's like these 2 horizontal lines with the line. And click on that. You'll see ride types. When you click on that, all ride types.
Well, where your location filters are down below is the ride preferences and ride switches you can turn off.
Yeah, ride switches are off. Queued rides go to manual accept, like Mike Smith
Yep.
has done here. So that's how you do it.
Yep. And then that way you might get a ride that comes in double the cost of what they would have actually given you had you have just had auto accept on.
Yes, I would have accepted the garbage.
But
Next
yeah,
one.
definitely a smart move, because I don't know how many times I've been driving towards the destination to pick up a rider, and then all of a sudden it said, "Ooh, we're going to switch you back to the other way where I was just sitting waiting for that ride to first come in."
Yeah.
And it's beyond that way. So now I have to drive even further both ways, and just pisses me off. Then the other thing is when you're at a freaking red light turning one way, let's say left, and they switch it and it's like, oh, you got to go right.
Yeah. It's always
and
the opposite direction.
6 lanes of fucking traffic right there. And it's like, you got 3 going forward, you got 2 turning left, and you got 1 turning right. Like, you kidding me, right? So now you got to make the turn, then you got to pull a U-turn, probably wait in the light again that you were sitting, probably get another ride switcheroo. So now you're going forward, then guess what? You're going to be switched back to that same ride. So you got to go pull a Yui.
With all the sophistication in these algos, you think when they switch a trip, it's not behind you, right? Or opposite direction that you were going. It's like in front of you, maybe, right? It's better for everyone. Yeah, it's not, unfortunately.
They just are like, I don't give a fuck. Like that's the whole thing why I like completely switched when it came to what would be my acceptance for Lyft rides versus Uber, because I was so sick and tired of it. I'm like, if you don't respect the fact that I just had to drive extra mileage out of my way, that means that's costing me money and costing me time and effort and energy. And it just pissed me off so much that I'm like, all right, well, if you're going to play that game, I'm not taking a ride that's more than 6 minutes away, because I know it's going to get switched. Anything under than that, never had a switch problem. So, yeah.
Yep.
And the other thing too that they need to fix is time estimates.
Spixer or Spixer, whatever. You had another comment, and I think you should come on as the Uber or Lyft CEO. Go ahead. Let's go to the next one.
All right, we got Richard saying, always getting pings just before I'm about to make a turn. It covers the map.
There you go. Yep. Another one at the distracted driving thing of Uber. There you go. Yep. Okay, that's forward dispatch.
Rideshare drivers sure do complain a lot. There's always a real job.
This is a real job.
I think that's more of a real job than most jobs. What is a real job? I hear that all the time.
You should come on. You should come on. Grab the link up there, right there somewhere. You should come on.
No, everybody, put in the comments. What is a real job? Everybody, it doesn't matter what. You could be a rideshare driver. You could be starting your own business. You could be doing this or that or this or that or anything up, and then they're like, "Oh, you should get a real job." What the fuck is a real job?
Yeah, that's what they always hear. You hear that quite a bit from riders, right?
Funny?
Get a real job. I'm like, what do you do? You go sit in
let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Oh, you're doing that YouTube thing, huh? You should get a real job. Okay, so when I roll up in my Ferrari next week, and you said, "Oh, remember that time I should have gotten a real job and not done YouTube?" No, thanks for that advice, man. How much are you in debt again? Oh, that's right. Oh, yeah. Ferrari.
Don't let the door hit you on the way out. Denise Brown.
No, but for real, like,
hey, here we got a new one. Welcome, Denise.
What's up?
Denise is new.
But no, seriously. I see a couple of jobs that provides for your needs. Yeah, I mean, worked a corporate job. I was an account manager, had 40 unhappy accounts. Have you ever heard Dream Lyft? I don't know.
No, I have not.
Real job is having there you go. A real job is for having to beg for time off. You know what? I haven't had to take time off in 2016. So what? 9 years now. I haven't had to because I haven't worked for somebody else.
Okay,
I work for myself.
He's trolling us, buddy. Chris, he's trolling us. Now he's putting all the reasons why you just trolled us, my man.
No, he's playing it smart, man. He is.
He's playing it
smart. He's trolling he's on our side because he's trolling the people who say,
"Oh, he's being facetious." I get it. Reverse psychology. I got you. Okay, cool.
Yeah, honestly, the people that say, "Hey, get a real job," are the people who are so pissed off, whatever they're doing. They're miserable. They're in debt. They have problems, and they don't want to see anybody else succeed. They don't want to see anybody else do anything other than what they're doing because they're sold this lie.
Yeah.
And you know what? Hey, for all the bullshit that we may give what's going
This is
on
a
with
tough
Uber and Lyft
job.
land, hey, I can go on and off when I want. I don't have to drive for a month and a half. I mean, I was in LA a week ago. I was in Chicago last week. I can do different
Yeah.
things at any given time, just like anybody else can if you don't have a real job. I
We're
mean,
lucky.
as long as I have an internet connection, I'm okay because I can be like, hey, look, Sergio, I'm here.
Same
I can
shit,
be,
bro.
I mean, behind this screen, I don't know if you know that, but it's a green screen. It's not really my car. I got rid of this car 2 years ago, but I could be in Hawaii right now. I can pull this down and there could be palm trees behind me. Who knows?
I 100% agree with you because as long as I have a good internet connection, I can trade stocks and options from the moon. So I'm all good.
Yeah. Speaking of, where are you people? Don't you want to?
Yeah. What happened? What happened to the others that go over CEO should go to jail? What happened? Nobody's showing up.
Dar's a slave owner. He's a slave driver.
Crickets. Okay, let's put him up again. Maybe you guys, the chat's going fast today, so maybe you guys lost the link. Come on down. Tell us what you would do if you were the Uber or Lyft CEO. We're making you. I'm putting the sword on your shoulder. And behold, you are the Uber Lyft CEO.
Your driver, hey, just got here. Well, glad you did. Have you talked about the Uber been moving trip radar model and not giving many cruises now?
There you go.
First off, you could be talking about Advantage versus Standard, which is continuing to expand because apparently some poor schmucks out there are saying, oh, I can just go to 25% acceptance rate. So I'm going to get my 18% acceptance rate to 20 and I'll go pay 5% more of nothing because they're just dropping the 5%.
Yeah.
Apparently that's becoming a real problem right now. Actually, you know what? I'm going to turn my app on and just see what comes in.
We're going to look into that. So email me, Joe Driver. Email me, Sergio@therideshareguy.com. Actually, a lot of you. If you are only getting trip radar trips, email me because I'm sure there is some sort of algorithm going on. Something's happening.
All right. Well, let's see. I got my app on, sitting right here, waiting right now. Okay. Let's see what kind of requests come in.
If it's anything like what I experienced in Santa Monica while we're having lunch, I got one trip in 45 minutes and one trip radar.
I know that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, shit. That's why I turn it on. We'll see. And then hard for me to be too much love. I had a horrible core job for 35 years. I feel like I'm on vacation doing rideshare. Yeah, I mean, sometimes it absolutely can. I mean, sometimes though it's a grind, but other times it can be really good and really fun.
We should have done that topic, Chris. What is a real job? We should have done that topic because none of the 300 people here have the balls to come on and say, I'm the Lyft CEO, Uber CEO, this is what I would do. You know, if you had balls, one of you would come on and say, I actually would charge more and pay less.
Real job is bringing home an income that's not illegal. That's a real job, point blank. Yeah.
I don't know about that. Illegal is decent. It pays pretty well.
I mean, yeah, but you're putting yourself at risk. So do you want to?
All right. So nobody wants to come on? I thought that was going to be like a banger
real job
banger
one, at the same time, they talk about how they hate their job.
Exactly.
They're mad because they don't have time off. Look, that's the best. Like, Harry's great because I have a certain requirement that needs to be met, you know, doing YouTube managing. If that's met, I can do it anywhere. I can be on the road for like 6 months. It doesn't matter. Like, I mean, same thing with you guys. If you want to go drive, you could. If you want to go to a different area, like Roxy and a couple of other people, all you do is just put in the app and say, "Hey, I'm going to this area. Sign me up there."
She's our winter bird. Roxy she's in the chat right there. She drives. I forgot how many cities. 5 cities. She goes when it's hot. She goes to cooler cities. When it's cold, she goes to warmer cities. She's the winter bird. She just goes wherever the money is. The busy cities, obviously. She doesn't go to Idaho or some shit. But she's been doing this for a long time. We've known Roxy for a long time, man. My hair looks bad. Who cares? Well, no, we're gonna make you the Uber CEO or Lyft CEO.
Well,
what's happening, people?
Yeah, and then happening? You know what? If you're Uber and Lyft CEO, I mean, like, how much did Dara get paid in stock options last year? I mean, how much did he get paid in a bonus last year? Come on. Like
Dara,
you
yeah,
can get
well,
your
you're
hair
not
did.
going to make that kind of money by showing up.
There you
But
go.
no, we
Nashville
want
next
to.
week, Roxy.
A lot of you bash these people. I go like, okay, let's go. Oh, there's one. There's
Oh,
one.
we got one.
We
Stephanie,
got
what's
one.
going on?
We
You are
hooked
now.
one. We hooked one.
You are
There we
now.
go.
Hold on. You are now Uber CEO.
Yeah.
What are you changing and why?
Oh God, where to start? Dara's gone. A couple other people are gone. I would go back to how it was back in the day, where good drivers were rewarded, the pay was better, riders paid less, and we actually support was better. And it filtered out a lot of drivers and it incentivized those of us that try to do a good job as a real job, as our business, to do it the right way. And it seems like they're rewarding a lot of the bad drivers in a lot of aspects. And those of us that have been doing it a long time, good drivers, shown commitment, are getting penalized. We're not getting the quests and the bonuses and all of those other things, but new drivers are coming on and getting massive stuff. They used to give out, remember the jackets and the cups and all of that if you hit certain increments and bonuses. All of that is gone for vet drivers that do a good job at this.
Okay.
And so that needs to happen. I think we have to increase the pay. I am sick of getting 45 tips for $1.50.
You're the
It's
CEO.
unacceptable.
You're the CEO. You're not a driver right
Yes.
now.
Stephanie,
So,
just
okay,
to
wait.
let you know, right?
Well,
now,
I pretend to
you
drive
have
in
just
Napa
been
Valley
ousted.
sometimes.
I'm sorry, you've just been ousted as the CEO. You are no longer the CEO anymore because
Yes.
the stock
We as shareholders, we fire
And,
you
we
because,
shareholders
our stock
fired
is
you.
going to tank if you're the CEO.
Okay, listen, but I'm going to pretend to be a driver sometimes in Napa Valley as reality. Okay. And I'm going to post those real
They
trips
get
all the
David
time.
Richards.
Okay. So we're going to do that and then act like everything is okay. And we're paying our drivers a whole lot more and riders are happier. So
Okay.
you have to make the stockholders happy. You have to make yourself happy and get $150 million bonus on top of your pay. I understand that. But there has to be.
You having to be happy about that. You're
Well,
like, hey,
I'm acting like I'm the big. I am now the HBIC. Thank you very much. Okay. So.
All right.
Okay.
Okay. As of tomorrow morning, 6:30 a.m. when the bell goes off, and if she's the CEO of Uber, I am shorting to Uber. I'm shorting Uber to zero. Although Bill Ackman is going to buy every share I'm about to short, I see your middle finger. It's like, all I'm saying is it's a difficult job. Okay. However,
yes.
We're not defending anybody, as you guys know. I thought this would be like really fun. I just want you guys to. This is what I want you guys to do. Without you guys, without drivers, us, there is no Uber and Lyft. Okay. One thing I think is it's a difficult. You got to put yourself in their shoes, and you got to put yourself obviously in your shoes. But you do that all the time. I think if I was the CEO of Uber, the first thing I would do, seriously, the first thing I would do, because I've never said this in 12 years of my Uber, I would say, without drivers, there's no Uber. At least David Richard is doing that once in a while. I wouldn't call drivers from drivers to partners to earners to this. Drivers we need. I would work on that. I would work on this horrible perception Uber has in the driver community. And if it's going to come by pay, maybe. If it's going to come by other safety measures, maybe. I don't know. If it's going to come by paying the veterans more and paying the newbies less, I would be open to all of these things. But Steph.
Well, and we have to tighten up who we let on. It has to be for everybody's, for the drivers, for the companies, and for the riders' perspective. It's too easy to get on. And I hear about it all the time. We're not getting rid of bad drivers. We're not getting rid of bad passengers. And so there has to be something in the pay structure, looking back to what it was 6 years, 8 years ago to now, that has changed so drastically that riders and drivers are unhappy. Yes, the stockholders are happy. Yes, I, as the CEO, HBIC, am happy. But we have to look at overall what's going on, because now
we just raised this point. If you're paying drivers more, and you're lowering rider costs, we still have our cost of commercial insurance. We still have our cost of paying all of our employees. We still have our cost of, definitely the share price and turning a profit. You just took our profit where we had a slight margin profit, and now we're in the hole, $150 million.
Get rid of
this month.
Waymo. So I would be getting rid of some of the AV stuff.
You've only decreased it by about that much.
Well,
when it came to the debt that you just assumed for the company. Yeah.
Well, here's okay. As the HBIC, this is common sense to me, but maybe not. If I'm paying a lot of money for support for drivers and riders, yet it's taking a million times longer to get through to anything, and they're having to come back time and time again, that is a repetitive waste of money. So pay a little bit more for some somewhat intelligent people to handle it one and done. So we can cut support because God knows they're awful. And we can cut that support so that passengers and drivers are happier and have it be a one and done. Yes, there has to be some cut. But when you look at the fees that are being taken out on top with the insurance, it's not all insurance for Uber, and with the fee, where all is that money going? Get back to some of the surges. We haven't seen surges in a while, where people on the weekends at night, the passengers expected it and knew that it was coming. So how much extra money was coming from that?
Yeah, but we have enough drivers to fulfill demand. So because it's based on real-time support, you have one driver for one passenger, and the whole goal is to have somebody within 5 minutes of you being picked up. We've established that. There's not 6 minutes, not 8 minutes, it's not 12 minutes.
Yeah, but I know that I throttle some drivers that piss off support.
Okay, no. So I'm going to give you 30 more seconds because Uber would go bankrupt if you were the CEO. However,
for me.
However, no, I get it. However,
I'm kidding.
What would you, as a CEO, right? Old guy is gone, new king is in town. Would you handle safety first for drivers? Would you handle the perception in the driver community first? Would you handle support first? What would you do out of those three? Pay is not an issue. We cannot pay you more. We just can't. What would you do?
Safety, perception. Well, it would be safety. How much money are we losing in lawsuits? Perception can be fixed with other ways. So I would probably go safety.
Okay. All right. Well, Uber, you're listening? This is what's happening. No, I agree with you. I think support and safety probably are like head to head because support has gone downhill for sure. And drivers don't feel supported. So as the new CEO, she's going to fix Uber support. Okay. Not this AI bullshit that you guys have. So,
what are you talking about? I would go full steam AI on general AI intelligence.
Okay, Mr. Waymo.
I can get rid of all my 33,000 encoding employees because I can just put it right to the cloud, my AWS servers, and I don't have to pay. All I got to do is pay for the electricity.
But you as the CEO is why we have Waymo, buddy. But with you as you brought us Waymo, sir.
With me with CEO, I would be raising companies' profits by 25%.
By taking a pay cut?
He's gonna pay you guys less, actually. He probably would pay you guys less. Yeah. That's what he would do.
I would say across the board 5% less for people. We have to raise prices. We're going to put on a massive marketing campaign against commercial insurance problems. We're going to, I would double down on whatever DAR is doing and do it 3 times as better and piss off everybody I can. Because if you don't piss somebody off,
you're doing a good job at that now. We just lost like 40 people. So.
Yeah, but you know what?
That Travis
DAR only got 120 million. My goal is 250 million.
My bad.
I'm just kidding.
I said 150.
Steph,
all right. Get rid of Waymo, sir, CEO Chris.
That would be the first thing I would get rid of.
Yeah. He's anti-Waymo for sure.
I would destroy that partnership with a get-go. I would bring back Travis and say, they did wrong.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right, thanks.
Be safe.
Bye.
Okay. Does Mohammed come on every time we put the link up, bro?
I think so. What's up, Mohammed? How you doing?
What's up, Mohammed?
Meeting RFPs. Happy Tuesday. Best of
Mohammed,
luck.
happy Tuesday to you. Guess what? You are now, so starting at 6 a.m. tomorrow, you are now the Lyft CEO. What do you want to do for Lyft or as Lyft CEO?
Okay, this is what I will do. I was thinking about it today. Since in Minnesota they're getting that, what is it, $1.50 and 48 cents a mile or whatever that is. I always try to get what would be like a good per mile and per minute rate. $1.50 a mile and 25 cents a minute. 25 cents a minute is 25 times 60. That's what is that? $15 an hour. 15.
Yeah, Mohammed, you're the CEO. You're not a driver.
Yeah. No, I know that. But I'm a driver. I was driving, so now I'm a CEO. I want the drivers to start accepting more, as in Joe. Was it Joe from the Saturdays? He always claims that his acceptance rate has improved. We want to improve the acceptance rate.
Okay.
And that's number one. Improve the pay for drivers and improve, maybe freeze the hiring of drivers. Eliminate, and with Uber, eliminate the trip radar.
We're shorting Lyft too tomorrow morning.
No, listen. Eliminate trip radar. Eliminate trip radar. Now, what else? Improve the pay so that way drivers can, and another one is when any rider makes a complaint and it's going to hurt the drivers, it has to be backed by a police report. If they're going to accuse a driver of driving under the influence, would they be willing to put their hand on the good book and swear that what they claimed is true?
Our president, our current president had a show called The Apprentice.
I can't hear both of you speaking at the same time.
Our current president had a show called Apprentice.
Yes.
Okay. Do you know how he would end that show?
Yes. You're fired.
You're fired.
Look, if you weren't fired, the Lyft stock price, just so you know, it is at $11 that it closed at just
shorting.
now. I would buy $4 puts. Because
Chris, what happened in 2016? No, listen. What happened in 2016 when all that bad PR came out against Uber? What did Lyft do? They started offering rent-a-cars to drivers. They advertised during the NBA championship, and at the time, Lyft was.
That's for driver acquisition. It's been 10 years. They have all the drivers they need. They need more. They need more take from customers. So as CEO, you should be looking at what you can do to attract more customers away from Uber or expansion, like what they're doing in Europe, because you don't want that stock price to sit at $11 anymore. You want that stock price to be up where Uber's is, which is at $74.44.
Okay. Now look, as I said,
next
the more drivers, the more requests drivers accept, the more revenue is going to come to Lyft.
I agree. However,
and with that, a happy driver, and a happy driver, and a happy rider.
Is that like happy life, happy wife? Is that what? Is that?
No. Look. I just spent this past few days almost about $500 replacing 3 tires and a ball joint. Why? Because they hit too many potholes. That money didn't. Lyft didn't come up to me and tell me, "Here you go. Here's $500 paid for the servant."
Okay.
Know what I'm saying?
Time is up. We'll get back to you, sir, as far as your candidacy to Lyft Kingdom.
Well, thank you.
Love you. Be safe.
Thank you for letting me on.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you for being a 4-minute CEO and dropping our stock down 72%. But no, thanks for coming on.
What I will do? I will wear a shirt and a tie when I drive. I will wear a shirt and a tie with the speed when I drive.
When he drives. David doesn't.
I know
that. All right, thanks, Mohammed.
All right, see you. All right, funny person.
All right, we got
251. I hope you're
person.
funny.
Hey, how's it going? Can you hear me?
Absolutely. All
I
right.
think the
All
biggest
right,
thing, the most
you have
important.
You
Oh,
are
go
you
ahead.
the CEO? Okay,
All right.
I honor you as the CEO of Uber. There we go.
Thank you. The most important thing I think everybody's missing, no matter what, even the pay, the number one thing I think is safety. All the money in the world doesn't matter if you're dead. Just being real. And I think
Okay.
it's the biggest
So
issue with
what are we going
rideshare.
to do for our passengers to make them feel safer?
We need to do more verification, especially on the rider end. I think there's not enough verification for the driver's safety still. I think the riders have a lot of safety as it is already, in my opinion. That's just my
Okay,
honest opinion
but
on it.
if you look at our safety report that we posted every 2 years, 50% of
Mhm.
passenger problem are committed by our drivers. So what can we do, because they're the paying customer? Fuck the driver, right there. What can we do for the passenger? Come on, you're the CEO. We gotta raise the stock price.
What
It's
is
$74. We need to get
Am I
90.
in the twilight zone? What's going on?
Well, I mean, if you make it safe also for the
Bitch.
drivers, you can also increase more safety for the riders and find other things to add on top of that to increase the stock investments and investors to make them feel happier. If you do both sides, they're going to be more interested. I feel
right.
like,
Sure. Well, we need
Now-
safer drivers for sure. We need safer drivers so they don't get in accidents. We can't
Mhm.
complain against commercial insurance.
Definitely.
We got all these different things. So, but how
Okay.
is that going to help improve our stock price?
I think also pay transparency. They need to be more transparent. Like, go back to a rate card. I really think it would help in general. All these weird algorithms, I don't think it always is beneficial for the company, because if you lose so many drivers of people not taking rides, I've talked to riders. They leave. They'll either call a cab or they just drive their car to the airports in the morning, for example, here in the Richmond market, early mornings. You're pissing off a lot of customers. You're going to lose a lot of business, especially even the business people, because they have to be somewhere on time. It's supposed to be a reliable service. So that
All right.
stuff's a huge factor.
Okay. So as the CEO of Uber, I'm back to shorting the shit out of Uber tomorrow morning at 6:30 a.m.
Uber just getting hit.
I'm doing this with both hands. There's a sell into no end. Hey, no, we appreciate you. What city are you in, by the way?
Richmond, Virginia. So I'm close to the big DC markets, Norfolk.
Okay.
I got a lot around me.
How's it going? Everything good?
It's okay. It has its ups and downs, but Uber's definitely been shorting the crap out of the drivers. The rates have just been all over the place. I don't know what's going on. It's really
Are
crazy.
you only getting
Maybe.
Trip Radar, or just you getting
Um,
exclusive?
I get Trip Radar. Sometimes I don't. I'm on standard mode. I try to. Maybe I should try Advantage. I just can't justify it for what I've seen on the Advantage mode here at the drivers. It's not much of an increase.
Yeah, well, it's also an increase over what, right? We don't even know. But anyway.
Again, there's no base.
Yep. Thank you. We appreciate it.
We
Thank
like
you,
to
buddy.
keep it opaque because that's how we're able to
Mhm.
make sure that we can get into profit, not just eat or at above or operating
I
loss.
did not
We wanna make sure
designate
we're
you as
profitable.
the CEO of Uber.
Why not? We should ask what Chris's thoughts on it.
Chris is
Oh,
putting his
I'm sure
thoughts.
we'll talk about that at the end
He's
of
actually, this
Of
is an
course.
interview with Uber now. So it's like, when you guys don't see Chris next week here, he got hired by Uber. That's what happened. So,
Oh no, that means the rates are going to go down. I'm just kidding.
there goes the neighborhood.
Oh yeah, you'll see a
He's
10%
gonna be
gain, don't
brutal. You
worry.
guys think Uber is brutal? Wait until Chris is the CEO. He's gonna keep all of you all. That's what's gonna happen.
He's going to put cones on all the Waymos for sure. Definitely in that contract with Uber for sure.
Yep.
Anyway, thank you for coming on, man. We appreciate
All
it.
right, thanks.
Hey, but thank you so much for being on the show. Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
All right. Life of Richard.
Hey,
How's it
how are
going?
y'all? Good. How are
Hey,
y'all?
You have just been promoted to Lyft CEO starting tomorrow. What are you doing?
I'm gonna look at the internal work first and see what's not working. I know there's a lot of coders. I know in the industry there's a lot of coders that doesn't really code much at all. They sit around do nothing and just try to trim down the fat. Let's see.
Okay,
Also,
well,
I
I
would
mean,
probably
when David Risher came in before we got rid of him and promoted you, he got rid of 25% of the staff.
yeah, that's
So
25%.
that's
I
some
mean,
pretty good trimming right
he
there.
can still cut. He can still cut more. Look at Uber. They have what 33,000 employees. Do you think they really
Yeah.
need 33? Like, how many employees do you need to code an app that half the time doesn't even work?
Uber, I would
mean,
cut
you have-
50% of people tomorrow. If I was well, I shouldn't say that just yet because I have to wait my turn. But
Let's see. I would actually do a better background check on all the drivers and actually just tell them that, hey, if you want to work on the platform, you're going to be paying a higher percent. You're going to be paying for the background check, not a $25 checker. It gives more confidence to the driver, to the community that, hey, we're taking care of the community, that we're looking back for the driver. We're not having illegals on the platform. Also, I would actually have work with local law enforcement, everything else. If anything that comes about, let's say like, hey, my driver was under influence. Okay, well, we're gonna send you to this location, this police station to get a blood test or a breathalyzer test to make sure you're okay to drive. And if they check out and that you're okay, and they check the car, hey, there's no substance that, hey, this driver is under the influence by anything, not in the smell of the car, then find the passenger. Hey, you cannot just go around try to get a free ride and charge them whatever, $100, $150 for penalties. On a Waymo, you know that a Waymo, if you smoke in the car, they will charge you $100 for a smoking fee. So there's a
I
lot
am
of,
not firing
let's see,
you.
a lot of stuff.
well, hey, so far you're making it to day 2. What are you doing
Yeah.
on day 2?
Day 2. Everybody else we fired before you,
day-
except you. So we're not
day-
firing you. I think you make
Day
sense.
2, let's see. Also with verification for the driver, I mean for the passengers. If they do not want to verify, there's an extra fee on top of it, $3 to $5 fee.
You're
until they
fired. That
want to-
costs us
on
too
each
much
ride.
money.
Yeah, that we cannot do. We are trying to look at
What?
ways to pay the driver less than $3 a trip. How do we do that?
I'm sorry, you broke out for a second.
Okay, we're trying to
We
pay
wanna
the
pay- we wanna
drivers
pay
less than
drivers
$3
less than
a trip. How
$3.
do we do that?
I mean, there's not much else you can do. They're actually cutting as much as you can. I mean, you can give them a chance to, hey, if you want to pay the insurance, the commercial insurance, but I think most drivers will
Oh,
not
no.
be able to do that.
You know,
in the
one
first
thing-
There's a
place, 'cause a lot of
fantastic
them,
way you can. It's called psychology. You make it so that it seems like they're taking the ride they're taking a better ride for a lower cost. So they'll be happy about it. So instead of them bitching about it, $3 rides, you're offering $275 for the ride, and they're happy about it. You got to work the psychology into it.
Life of Richard, what city are you in?
I'm in Atlanta, the
Atlanta.
Atlanta market.
Well, Waymos
Yes.
are coming there hot and heavy.
Yeah, they're coming out
I
this,
don't worry. I
in
will be
2 months, I think.
I
Yeah,
will be again. If you see cones on the side of the road, you know what they're for.
that's right. All right, be safe out there. Thank you for coming on. You know, we're all in jest, but then you're the only candidate we did not fire immediately. So you survived 3. All right,
Good job.
be safe out there. Take care of yourself.
Yep. Thanks
take
for
care.
coming on.
Thanks. Billy, you got 2 minutes, Billy.
All right, first thing I would do as a new Uber CEO is I would take the company back private. Reason being is you can only charge the customer so much and pay the driver so little. So at some point they're going to start shorting the stock anyways, putting them out. Number 2, I'm getting rid of advantage mode versus standard mode because that's eventually going to be a lawsuit for drivers following the terms of service and being punished for it. Number 3, charge the riders $3 per mile. Give the drivers $1.50 per mile. That's going to solve your acceptance rate, and then they can keep the change of whatever they're charging the customers during the trip per mile, whatever they charge them, like 30 cents a mile, whatever they're charging. Keep that. That's going to make those profits go up. It's also going to stop drivers taking clients and turn them into personal clients, which will bring that money back up as extra revenue as well. That's where they should
Well, my
start.
question to you is $3 a mile is going to put our costs up 12% on every single rider out there. How are you going to package that deal that they're going to be paying more?
It still costs less than taxis, and they're still a major market player in our market here in Tampa. It's still less than what they charge.
Yeah, but it's still 12% more on every single trip that they're going to be taking.
I
So,
understand, but that's the
how do you
market.
do that?
I'm here to keep you from going out of business and being sued, not to save a
Well,
couple of pennies.
don't forget, we got all of our lawyers and everybody who already looked at all of the advantage versus standard, and everybody okayed it.
They can hate it all they want, but it's going to lose. It's going to
They
cost
don't
them
hate it. They
millions when
love it.
that suit comes.
They love it, but that's the thing. They okayed it. They said this is well within our right to be able to offer 5% more or less based on the acceptance rate, because we're trying to make sure that we get higher acceptance rate.
It's okay now because they haven't gone to court over it yet, because it will come. So at
don't
some
worry, that's
point
called
that will
arbitration.
come.
You know,
You've agreed
let
to
me tell you.
arbitration as a driver.
All right. So we gave you one more extra minute. I'm not firing Billy either. I'm not firing the last guy and Billy. Everybody else is fired, including Steph, who's upset and triggered at the moment.
Yeah, because Advantage Mode, that extra 5% that they're giving you, they're just lowering your base pay by 5%. So it's a squash.
Yes, they 100%.
And if you're in a large market, acceptance rate doesn't matter. You can still cherry pick. But if you're in a mid to small market, if you're not in Advantage Mode, you're not getting pings. You're not getting trip radar either. And I've done a video on that, and it's horrible.
Okay, are you you're in Tampa? Are you mostly getting trip radar, or are you getting some trips?
I stay above the 25% just by making sure I don't go across the bridges, don't go to bad neighborhoods. So so I'm at a 42% acceptance rate.
Okay, cool. All right, thanks for coming on. We appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
All in fun, obviously. But if Uber does, if Uber does call you, we want our 10% finder's fee, agent's fee, right, Chris? There you go.
Yeah.
All right. So,
Sergio,
we
what
should
would you
do.
do?
We should do a video. We should do a video individually, right? Both of us, one at a time. If I was the Uber Lyft CEO, what I would do. You know what I'm saying?
No, yeah, but I mean, the problem is a lot of people wouldn't see the context of that. So, I mean, you could kind of talk on the surface, but they're not seeing like the whole conversation that we just had with everybody.
Okay.
But what would you do?
We should put this up as a snippet. We should put this up as a snippet.
We will. But
Yeah.
so Sergio,
Yeah.
you have just been gifted
Yeah.
and granted and hired as the next Uber CEO, starting effective 12:01 a.m. tomorrow, 4/23. What are you doing?
Immediate head cutting. At least start with probably 20% head count immediately. Do what I'm doing good, better. And there are things that I do well. And there are things that I don't do well. Number 3, do what I am not doing well better, such as I know our support is lacking. I know this is the age of AI, but I think humans are still needed. So pay attention to that. I wouldn't pay more attention to that. And last but not least, what I would do is I would 100% try to work on the perception that exists in the driver community, because yes, Uber, or yes, we do, let's talk like Uber. Yes, we do our surveys. Most people are happy with the platform, the way it functions. And there is this guy in California. His name is Sergio Chris. Trash. He talks nothing but trash about me, right?
Oh,
but
wow.
once in a while, he says something good, and we listen. And that is,
and it's
the
actually
perception
exclusive
in the driver community is horrible at the moment, and I will try to fix that. As far as driver pay, I would try to. I honestly don't know if Uber can improve driver pay until we have an undersupply of drivers, and at the moment we don't do that. We don't have that, so I don't think driver pay is going to increase or improve anytime soon. There you go.
Okay.
But I would definitely cut. Automatic 20% on the stock the next morning. Definitely cut 10,000 heads. At least 8,000 heads.
Okay. I would go at 50% cut.
Yeah, you go like a kitchen sink.
No, I would with the chainsaw. I would cut literally 50%. So out of 33,000 employees, half of them would be gone the following day.
Okay.
That would be number one. Number two, I would be looking at, yes, I would be looking at the perception, but I would not be looking necessarily at the driver perception because, hey, guess what? We have that already. I mean, we got more drivers today than we've ever had, even on shitty perception. If we built up the perception a little bit, hey, yeah, we'll get more drivers, but then the perception will go down because they're going to be waiting for longer. So you know what? Let's keep it where it's at. Let's change the passenger perception. Hold on. Let's change the passenger perception of the company because right now that's poor too. We want to change that perception of the company to make it even better, to make it stronger. So yeah, we're already the household name being Uber, but we want to take that a little bit further. We want to make sure that people are not using other apps, including Lyft or anything that's in there. We want Uber to be their default app all of the time, no matter what. So we're going to find a way to continue getting into their lives. We're going to continue trying to find different avenues that we can offer to our passengers so they can pay us more. The Uber One subscription, yeah, that's a little debacle. We're going to have to fix that. But we're gonna play the course as is right now. Maybe we'll add a little cancel button. It's a little bit small, but you'll be able to find it. So at least it'll take care of the FTC a little bit, make them happy. But yeah, when we'll also get rid of Tony West because clearly this is a targeted attack against us. So you know we're going to play the victim here. That it's because it's Kamala Harris's brother-in-law. So we're the victims here. We're not the aggressors. We're the victims. Again, it's all that psychology. We're also going to change the psychology of things a little bit. We're going to. The games are fun, but we don't need it. The big thing is.
May I interject? When I said perception, 80% of my drivers do 20% of the trips, part-timers, okay, and 20% full-timers, grinders, veterans do 80% of my trips.
Well, those owners are doing
to change. Isn't that group needs to get paid more? That group needs to get.
We need them to do more. We need them to drive more.
You're trolling me now. That group needs to get paid more. There has to be some sort of a pay scale between full-timers and part-timers. A soccer mom driving 3 hours a week should not be paid the same as a 40-50-hour driver.
No, you're right.
More money because he's doing all the trips.
Mom helps keep those spinner times down.
Yeah,
so we like those
are already super high.
As much as we like those grinders.
Really high, you know. Yeah. But all right, so this was fun. I think we should do this. Maybe
look. Here's the simple reality. Everybody wants to say, "Oh, let's raise rates." You're the CEO. You are looking for profits. Yes, you could potentially raise rates. It is very possible, but you have to do it in such a way where it will still not cut into profits. It won't piss off the shareholders because a lot of the problem is there's a lot of regulation and a lot of things that are behind this when it comes to running a business, especially a publicly traded one, where you have the fiduciary duty to make sure that your shareholders, that your stakeholders are getting the most amount of money that they can. And that's an unfortunate ruling and regulation that came from our federal government. So if you want to talk about some of the reason why we have some problems, look at the government, because that's the exact reason why. Not all companies want to be assholes. Sometimes they have to be because that is just the way the regulations are. So it's an unfortunate thing. And yes, a lot of it is sarcastic. Although if I was Uber's CEO, I would absolutely 100% unequivocally cut 50% of staff. If I needed to bring some staff back at that point, I would. But I would cut, see what's bleeding, and then fix if necessary. If it's not bleeding enough, I'll make more cuts. Plain and simple. That I have no problem doing. 20,000 employees fired. Sorry, what the fuck were you doing in the first place? Playing some game to see how we can game drivers a little bit more so we can get 4 more cents. No, it's simple. But yeah, when it comes down to it, the reality is running a company, whether you're a CEO, you only have so much decision as well too. There's a lot of things that you just can't do as CEO. The buck stops with you, but there's a lot of things that you gotta look into it. But yeah, I mean, it would be great to be able to say, hey, let's raise rates for drivers. We'll make them happier. If they're happier, the passenger's going to be happier. They're going to use the platform more because they have happier drivers. Maybe they'll have better cars instead of the crap that some people are driving out there. mean, how many times do you see an Uber and Lyft sticker with a fucking dented up car or, you know, a door that may not open?
Right? That's why
Something
the
like that.
riders are not happy, because they were scratching the bottom of the
Yeah.
barrel with all these new drivers, right? Because the old ones are making sense and quitting every 8 months, and the new ones that are coming along, they're trash. The cars are trash, drivers are trash, it's all trash. But then at this scale, you know, that's what it is. But I
Well,
honestly, I really think
that's where you would be embracing AI. And I would put, when it comes to support, when it comes to things like false reports, let's say my driver's driving drunk. How long was he on the platform beforehand? Is this his first ride or her first ride? Is that, if it is, okay, well, there might be some bearing to it. If they've been on the platform and they literally have been driving for the last 3 hours nonstop because they have accept all, they're not drunk. They're not even drinking. So at that point, I would say I would have some sort of algorithmic spit out that says the chance of this person actually behind the wheel having some sort of under the influence would be like 0.02% or something like that.
I have a
So
proposition. So to both Uber and Lyft, I think you guys should both hire us, both companies, as consultants, and we should head your new department called driver liaison or driver relationship, whatever. Okay, because I think you guys are doing a
Driver
horrible
management?
job sitting in your offices outside the 3 trips that David does in Napa and outside the photo op that Dara does on Wall Street Journal. You know what? I just thought about this. If I was the Uber CEO, mandatory 100 trips a month for each one of my employees. There you go.
Yeah, well,
Mandatory.
I mean,
You all get in your asses, get off your couches, get in the
33,000
fucking cars
employees
and do
giving
the
100 trips.
100 trips. Go ahead, do it. Then you will figure out all the bullshit on the app. You will figure out all the bullshit, and then we won't be here. Mandatory.
Yeah, but I mean,
every person, CEO to down, 100 trips a month. Go fucking do it for 6 months. Let's see.
Well,
what you
out
guys
of the
figure out.
50% that still have lived to tell another tale. But
There
the problem
not
is,
one person.
you have
There's not one person in either company that has done, okay, as an executive, 100
oh God,
trips a month.
no.
Nope.
Maybe
not
on the
100.
passenger side, but not on the other side.
Oh, absolutely. So
As a
you
driver.
do that. You get high on your own shit, Uber and Lyft, then you'll figure out how bad the shit is out there, right? But that's the other thing. You guys don't put yourselves in our shoes. See, I'm intelligent enough, know about Wall Street, know about numbers to put myself in your shoes and to make you profitable and all this free cash flow, EBITDA, gap earnings, blah, 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 blah. But you don't know how difficult it is to pay the rent with $3 chips. You don't know how difficult it is to pay my car note with $5 chips. You have no clue how much my insurance is costing while you're bitching and moaning to trial lawyers or ambulance chasers that your costs are going up. Once you figure that out, Uber, I think it'll be better for everybody, for the whole marketplace, including your riders, because riders are getting picked up with shit cars and shit drivers because everybody's quitting after 6-8 months. So
Yeah.
there you go.
I mean,
I did
the
put in
turn
my
rate
rant
definitely
right
has to be improved. I'm telling
Yeah.
you, the turn rates. So that type of thing needs to be fixed. Also, you know, doing some sort of more appropriate driver training, because there is a lack of driver training, and I think that's one of the reasons why you have such a high turn rate.
That's on purpose.
Hey, yeah, but here's the thing: if we cut the turn rate, yeah, we're gonna have more drivers, which means those spinner times are down, those wait times for the passengers are down, but they're gonna be more happier. We're not going to be going to the bottom of the barrel when it comes to drivers that are out there, and giving many good drivers a bad name because of that. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot that can be done. There's a lot that needs to be done. And do they have the balls to actually be able to do any of it? Probably not. But the reality is, I mean, yeah, if I got a phone call or an email later today from Uber or Lyft and says, hey, we want to talk to you more. We want you as a consultant to solve these issues. The first question I would be like, what kind of things are we actually going to be able to solve? And what can we work towards? Because if it's just going to be a little title to shut me up, money better be right then.
There is look, you know what it is? These people are all, they're not, okay, look, these people are all book smart, Chris, okay? They're extremely heavy on the book smart side. They're not street smart. What drivers are street smart, okay? And you need a little bit of both in a company, in a C-suite level. You can't just look at your spreadsheets and that you learned at Harvard or Wharton and say, yeah, this is what's happening, this is what's happening, that's what's happening. Yeah, everybody's pushing a button, some shit's happening, but to do that, there is a human on the other end. And if you don't understand what kind of conditions that human is under, that company is doomed to fail. Yes, Uber stock is $70, $74 a share. Yes, all this bullshit would be beautiful.
Look at Costco.
All I'm saying is,
Wait, is it Costco?
hire us. We go get our own 10 warriors. We put them in a room, and we'll see how this goes. Otherwise,
Look,
the way you guys
my
are
deal
going,
is,
it ain't gonna work. But anyway.
see, here's the thing. My deal is I'm a problem solver. So I look at something and I say I can pick out different problems, and then I can look at the second, and third, and fourth generations of the potential fix problem, and try to snipe them out before they become problems. And there's so many problems with the wheels over at Uber and with Lyft that I don't know. I mean, it can be hard to even fix a lot of it. But there's definitely things that they could, and they could become a massive conglomerate that's running well-oiled, that's running very profitable. The problem is, you know, they're not looking at it the right way. And yes, there is an absolute way where the driver can be making more. There's definitely the way where driver or passengers could be potentially paying less, or slightly more, but not, you know, a lot more. And there's a way where Uber can walk out profitable as well too, and it's just a matter of
there's a way to do this better,
solving it all out.
There's a definitely way to do this better, but I think in the haste of just corporate profits, stock prices, RSUs,
real
which is
quick,
restricted stock units, all that shit, it's not that it's pretty simple how to run this better for all involved. Julio,
real quick
apple
though,
juice I'm gonna need after this.
Hold on. Are there any drivers in the Durham, North Carolina area? If there's any drivers who are watching right now, please email Sergio.
What happened?
You just emailed me this thing about
yeah,
a driver.
well, I thought you can help the guy because you're like.
I can't do. I mean, do you know how? Okay, here, hold on. Hello. Yeah, I'm on FaceTime. No. Something like that is probably going to be too difficult to do. But yes, if there's any
okay, how about what do you call it? Can he take it to like I don't know, you know, where they do stereo equipment installations and things like that, right? So I'll tell him.
You might be able to. Yeah, I mean, that's probably going to be the best thing, and then just work in the app, figuring. I mean, it's so simple and easy. But yeah, if there's any Durham drivers that are there, we could hook you up with a driver who who is you know, a little bit older and in need of a dash cam installation from Nexar. It's real simple. It's literally one cord that you're hiding behind everything and plugging it into your OBD sensor. But yeah, if there's any drivers that wouldn't mind,
I'll tell him to maybe, you know what, where he can go, he can take the car maybe to a service center, right? And when he's getting serviced, oil change, they'll probably do it. They have people who understand that kind of shit. I think
but also, you know, we got a great community. Yeah. You know, it'd be nice if a community member would say, "Hey, you know what? Yeah, I'd love to help out a driver.
I think your
dash camera installed."
Anyway, I'll respond to him. So people, we went way over today, but I think this is an important subject. The lack of empathy, the lack of understanding these companies have, and I think they have a much better understanding now since we've been doing the show. Actually, specifically last 2 years, a lot gets done in the back. That most of you don't even understand or don't even care to know, actually, and you shouldn't even know it. They are more receptive to what's happening. I can unequivocally say that, okay? But is it enough? I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, the companies need to be a little bit more street smart. They're all very, very book smart. Very, very, very book smart. And except that, you know, some dude writing some code somewhere, I'm talking to you now, you know who you are, and unleashing that code Okay. Yes, you guys do the back testing. I'm pretty sure. Yes, you guys figure it out. How many tenths of a basis point this is going to improve, top line and affect the bottom line, all that shit, right? Except that when you do unleash that algo, or when you do unleash that new product, you call it, right? It comes with its own drawbacks, and then the application of that to real life, because we're still in real life. We're the ones accepting the chip. We're the ones picking up the rider and dropping him off. We're the ones dealing with traffic. We're the ones driving. Sometimes Uber and Lyft, the application of those codes or algos written in a room in SF, New York, India, wherever they are, is not applicable to real life. And you as a company, if you just understood that, and that comes because you people don't drive. If
Well,
you
it comes down to the opportunity
if you
cost.
understood that, then things would be so much better for all parties involved. So
Well, see, the thing is, though, it comes down to the opportunity cost. How many times have you heard like a car manufacturer say, oh, we discovered a defect, and well, we don't want to deal with the defect because of the costs that would be that would associate with switching out every part into the right part. So we've come up with the opportunity cost, saying, oh, well, if we get sued into oblivion, it's still cheaper than going back and changing everything out.
yeah, no, I understand that.
That's the problem, is profits over people. And again, you take it back to a lot of the regulation that has been bestowed upon certain companies.
No, I get
actually,
that, but
every
this is
company.
they're not. But Chris, we're not dealing with liability issues here. What we're dealing with here is products that they release that don't work, right? And
Well,
as
yeah,
you sometimes
no, I
what do
get
you say sometimes? What do you okay? Hold on. What do you say sometimes? There must be a group of people sitting in a room,
edge case.
and then at the door of that room it says, "How do we F the driver room?" Right? They all get together and they have like bonuses figured out. How do we F the driver this month? How do we F the driver next month? Right? And that room needs to get eradicated, right? All of you need to get in cars and drive. Honest to God, you guys don't need us whatsoever. Well, my point to all of this is you must understand there's a human at the end of your algo that's being pushed and pulled by that algo, that's being played and gamified and shitified constantly. If you understood the value of that human, you wouldn't be doing what you're doing anyway. And I'm not trying to be Pollyanna here. You would be making more money, actually. But you guys don't understand that because everything for you is a spreadsheet and we're all numbers, right? Coming and going. Last but not least, you guys must understand there's a human at the end of everything at the moment. Until all the cars are autonomous, until all the robots are doing all the work, until then, until you guys understand that and fix it, I think we have a job. There you go.
All right. Now, with that being said, drive safe, everybody. We'll see you guys next week.